Listen to that. Welcome to the jungle indeed. Attention turning to Carrow Road for another key game in the push for promotion. It's Norwich against West Brom. The former Canary striker Dean Ashton is alongside your match commentator Ian Danter.
Thank you very much, Faye, and a very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Well, it is a jungle out there, the Championship, and my word, in that undergrowth there's a lot of teams scrapping and fighting and snarling to get into the top six. West Brom, coming here to Carrow Road, have been a fixture in the top six for quite some time, pretty much since late October, November. Norwich, having finished 13th last season, are desperate to get themselves further up the table. A win today gets them close to the top six in that tightly congested top end of the table. Norwich are 6 unbeaten at home, but they're finding it difficult to keep goals out of their net. 6 without a clean sheet. But last time out, you heard it live on Talksport 2 8 days ago, they went to Hull and won by 2-1, whilst West Brom battered Blackburn by 4-1 in their last league outing at the Hawthorns. Norwich make one change from that win at the MKM Stadium. Ben Gibson is back in the back four, so Kenny McLean, who played at centre-half against the Tigers, moves back into defensive midfield. Marcelinho Nunez is the player that drops to the bench. It's Angus Gunn in goal, Jack Stacey, Shane Duffy, Ben Gibson and Dimitris Giannoulis in the back four. Kenny McLean and Gabriel Sara holding in midfield, with Jonathan Rowe, Ashley Barnes and Bortha Saints in behind Josh Sargent in attack. For West Brom, well, you heard there from Lee Phelps that Tom Fellows would be good for a goal. Unfortunately not today. Illness rules him out. That's the only change for West Brom. Sees the return of Jed Wallace, who's making his first start since the 29th of December against Leeds, as he comes back into the starting lineup. So for West Brom, Alex Palmer, the keeper, Donald Furlong, Carl Bartley, Cedric Kipre and Connor Townsend. Arkay Yukuzlu and Alex Mowat are the holding midfielders. Jed Wallace, John Swift and Adam Reach in behind Brandon Thomas Asante in attack. Our referee is Sonny Sukvir Gill, who's made brilliant strides since starting repping in the National League in 2021. Spoke to his father, John Elsing, a few weeks ago at a referees event, Dean Ashton, and he's a bit of a trailblazer, this young man, of course, for getting more South Asian referees involved higher up the food chain in football. This is only a 6th championship game, but he's already acquitting himself brilliantly in the lower league levels. Brilliant to see, and certainly for a shining light for others to see that you can rise up the divisions pretty swiftly with the right attitude and certainly the knowledge. They're first fast-tracking a lot of referees these days. I think of Sam Barrett, who's been moved up to cover games. Rebecca Welch, of course, who's been refereeing Premier League games now. And Sonny Gill asks all players to take the knee, and they do. We are ready. Sat at the back of the City stand here at Carrow Road, to our left, the Barclay end, where the Norwich fans are the most vociferous, and to the right, the River end, known as the Regency stand these days. And Norwich will be attacking that River end to our right in this first half, in their yellow and green. West Brom in their change strip of dark blue, and immediately Norwich will want a free kick for just a little nibble on Josh Sargent, about 10 yards inside the West Brom half of the field. So Dimitris Giannoulis will leave it for Kenny McLean to take. Giannoulis back in the side today. He went off with a groin strain against Hull City, but has battled back and is able to start. So it will be Gabriel Sara to take this early free kick for Norwich City towards the River end to our right. West Brom holding their defensive line at the edge of the D. Sent in by Sara. Up go the heads. It went over the head of Carl Bartley, who got underneath it, but the ball ricocheted through to Alex Palmer. It's 0-0. We played a minute. Yeah, Gibson just didn't anticipate that ball was gonna miss Bartley. Otherwise, he could have just taken that down on the knee and maybe had a strike. But I think it's going to be a case of you have it, we have it. Within this, West Brom tend to allow the opposition to have the ball and they'll sit in a defensive structure. Well, Norwich are doing the same in recent games. So I think it'll be you have an attack, we have an attack. Connor Townsend gets his first touch for West Bromwich Albion. Down this left side, runs past our commentary position and leaves it for Adam Reach. I'll give you details of goals going in elsewhere in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Scottish FA Cup 4th round today. those games that have beaten the weather include Kilmarnock 1-0 up on Dundee, Carvassel and Motherwell 1-0 up on Alloa. That's Blair Spittle with a goal for the Mothers. And there's a few games that have bitten the dust in League One and League Two in this country. Cheltenham, Oxford, Port Vale, AFC Wimbledon, Harrogate, Mansfield, Swindon, Walsall and Bradford have all seen their games fall victim to frozen pitches. But there's plenty of games going on elsewhere, and I'll keep you in touch here on Talksport 2. A couple of minutes gone. 0-0 between Norwich City and West Bromwich Albion. And Cedric Kipre and Carl Bartley exchange passes at the back for West Brom. Clipped out to the right-hand side. Jed Wallace comes short, allows Furlong to push further down the field, but Ben Gibson lobs it out of play for a West Brom throw. 12 clean sheets, the most in the Championship this season. That's the record that West Brom hold, and they're unbeaten in 5 against their opponents and beat them by 1-0 just a few weeks ago when Brandon Thomas Asante scored the only goal, and Bortha Sainz was sent off for Norwich that day at the Hawthorns. Here is Connor Townsend playing a first-time ball up forward to Adam Reach, who tried to flick the ball into his stride but couldn't quite do it. And so it's back with Kipre once again. They're just feeling each other out at these early stages, aren't they, Dean Ashton, these two sides?
They are. That's Thomas Asante. That's a couple of times now he's just come off the front and turned.
Now West Brom fire it out to the right-hand side, and Jed Wallace up against Yanulis. Good ball in from Wallace. Reach tried to get the head into it at the far post. Stacey just got a flick ahead of him, and it goes out of play. And it's a throw taken quickly by West Brom because it did come off the head of the Norwich defender last of all. Adam Reach, left-hand side, 30 yards from the byline. Lovely triangle of passing, and now down the left-hand side, Connor Townsend's got room to measure a crossing to the far post. Wallace couldn't get there because it was a big defensive clearance at the back from Ben Gibson for Norwich, 0-0.
A couple of brilliant headers there defensively from Norwich City because the crosses were wonderful. First of all from Wallace on the right-hand side, then Townsend from the left-hand side. Well, funny how you seem to know that they've got the most accurate crosses per match this season, and yet Norwich haven't. You've got to work harder to stop the cross, which neither Yanulis and then Jonathan Rowe did defensively.
Yeah, an average of just less than 6 accurate crosses per game from West Brom. They lead that particular statistic in the Championship. In League One, Bristol Rovers 0, Blackpool 1. Two sides in cup action this week. Bristol Rovers were against Norwich and lost 3-1, but CJ Hamilton's given Blackpool the lead at the Men. And Milton Keynes in League 2, 1-0 upon Morecambe. That's Max Dean with the opener for the Dons. Bonnie Rigrose 1, Falkirk 0 in the Scottish Cup, and Kilmarnock 2-0 upon Dundee. Now Bortha Sainz coming forward for Norwich at 0-0. We played 4.5 minutes on Talksport 2, but they lose possession. Norwich and West Brom set Brandon Thomas Asante away down the right-hand side. Has to check his run. Being watched all the way by Yanulis. Now he's given the ball to Mowat. Mowat shovels the ball out to the right wing, and Jed Wallace in front of the Albion fans opposite our commentary position over there in the south stand. Darnell Furlong takes over. Has to roll it back to Bartley on halfway. Coming short now is Mowat. Mowat finds Reach. Reach goes over the hip of Shane Duffy, and he's got West Bromwich Albion a free kick here. It's quite a way to the left of centre, but it's 30 yards out. Maybe somebody in a West Brom shirt might fancy a crack at goal here, 0-0.
He just could not have a little nibble, could he, Duffy? A bit like me with that banana cake before when we got here. But he just couldn't help himself. He didn't need to. There was absolutely no need for him to try and win that ball because there was plenty of defensive players back. But he just had to have a go. And I tell you what, Swift is so good from these positions, these direct free kicks. This will feel like a real chance for him.
You've never seen a happier man than Dean Ashton with a banana and walnut cake in his hand. Let's see how happy John Smith can make the West Brom fans opposite us, because he's got the free kick. It's only a two-man wall just inside the area for Norwich. Swift comes up right-footed, gives it plenty of power, but it's a good yard or two wide of Angus Gunn's near post. Elsewhere in the Championship, Blackburn have taken an early lead against beleaguered Huddersfield. Only 1 win in 7 for Blackburn, but Adam Wharton has given them the lead at Ewood Park. Wraith Rovers lead at Livingston in the Cup in Scotland, and Aldershot one up at Kidderminster in one of the very few National League games that have beaten the weather today. You're listening to Talksport 2. Norwich 0, West Brom 0. Norwich just haven't got going yet. West Brom have started the brighter. Mowat flicks the ball back to Connor Townsend. looking at Norwich's home record, winning 7, drawing 2 and losing 4. That's not an awful record, but it's just a lack of goals. Only 19 scored at home, 14 conceded.
I think also it's the feeling around the stadium when I've been here. I mean, it doesn't help when, as a side, today you're up against a West Brom side who aren't exactly a team to be majorly fearful in an attacking sense, but they're just sitting right back, and it takes all the sort of excitement from the crowd when the team just sits so deep.
And they're finding Brandon Thomas Asante with ease up on the halfway line, West Brom. Whenever they clear their lines, they found Thomas Asante quite regularly. Now, down the left-hand side, Adam Reach giving chase, but Duffy this time gets there first and thumps the ball just to our left-hand side into the City stand for a West Brom throw, level with the edge of the Norwich penalty area, with West Brom attacking the Barkley end to our left in this first half. On Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Already you've heard Southampton become record breakers with that 21st game unbeaten, beating Swansea by 3-1. Arsenal over on Talksport walloping Crystal Palace by 5-0. But all the concentration at the moment in the 3 o'clock games is in the EFL, like here at Carrow Road. 2 former Premier League sides clashing, and the ball drifts out of play. Angus Gunn hurried his clearance at the back and was just told by Jonathan Rowe, just calm it a little bit. You don't have to hurry the ball out of defence quite so much.
No, but just to emphasise the point, West Brom have had 73% of the possession. You know, Norwich are at home, and that's always tough to take when you're home side and you sit back and allow the opposition to have as much of the ball as West Brom have had so far.
Stoke City 0, Birmingham City 1. Jay Stansfield giving Birmingham the lead at the Bet365 in the Championship. Wallace hits the ball against the back of Gabriel Sara, picked up by Alex Mowat, who sends play out to Darnell Furlong, hugging the right-hand touchline, has to go back to the halfway line for Barkley. Now coming short to pick it up is John Swift. Swift finds Mowat, who just drifts away from Ashley Barnes. I don't think he's had a kick yet, Ashley Barnes, in the Norwich shirt this afternoon. Now Swift again just lays it off on halfway to Barkley, being patient here, West Brom, and they are controlling this opening. There's no question. 9 minutes gone.
They're incredibly passive, aren't they, Norwich? Even though they're back into their shape, every single player inside his own half, well inside his own half. It's not like when that ball does get sucked into a player that he's got loads of pressure.
Swift plays the ball into the area. Thomas Asante tries to wriggle clear of Duffy. Went down, wanted a penalty, nothing doing. Furlong seizes on the loose ball, tried to flick it down the right-hand side of the box for Wallace. And Thomas Asante still appealing to the referee that he was hauled down by Shane Duffy or Ben Gibson. His first touch looked like he got him away and clear in front of goal, but he was denied. And now Norwich try and get Josh Sargent clear down their left-hand side, but Kipre hooks it out of play. What did you make of that,
I
Dean Ashton?
just thought that Gibson did enough, and I don't think Thomas Asante's touch is quite good enough. Is quite out of his feet enough to feel as if he should be away from Gibson. I think Gibson just hooks his left foot round and definitely gets a touch on the ball. I just think it's that initial first touch from Thomas Asante wasn't quite out of his feet.
Goals going in elsewhere. 0-0 here. Plymouth 0, Cardiff 1 in the Championship. Plymouth 8 unbeaten at home, but that record under threat from Perry NG's opener for Cardiff. And a good game in League 2 this afternoon, 4th against 5th. And it's Barrow 1, Crewe 0. Robbie Gotts for Barrow, who start the day 11 unbeaten at home. 0-0 here at Carrow Road, with Norwich City in possession. Gabriel Sara just shy of the halfway line, feeds it left to Gibson. Giannoulis, faced up by Swift, has to go back to the halfway line. Heavy touch from Sara, but then he wriggles in between 2 West Brom players, and now Bortha Sites plays the ball into the centre of the half for Barnes. He tried to shovel it out right to find the run of Jack Stacey, but it hit the back heel of his own player, and Norwich get it back as West Brom can't clear the ball properly. Laid off by Giannoulis to McLean. McLean looking for an option, sent it back out left, and now Bortha Sites will just leave it as it goes back to McLean once more. Watford take the lead at Bristol City in the Championship. Tom Deli Bashiru from the penalty spot for Watford.
I mean, I talked about that shape, that defensive shape from Norwich. Sara again with a...
Well, that's the first shot on target. He struck it from the left-hand corner of the box, but it was
A little pea roller.
Yeah, a little pea roller for meat and drink for a goalkeeper, though, wasn't it, for Alex Palmer? Very easy claim.
It amazes me that Gabriel Sara hasn't, at times, played a lot further forward. He's so creative. He's arguably second to Jonathan Rowe in terms of the most dangerous player, yet he plays very, very deep.
Oh, lovely dummy by Wallace, and then Thomas Asante tried to send him away down the right-hand side. He was running towards the ball, towards the halfway line, but just let it run, knowing that Thomas Asante was behind him, and he tried a little reverse pass, but Wallace, having bent his run, couldn't get anywhere near the poor pass. 0-0.
No, but it's inventive, bright play, isn't it, from West Brom? You know, I talked about Norwich's defensive shape being a negative as such. Well, West Brom have done exactly the same. When Norwich have the ball, they then sit in their own half.
0-0 the score. 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you at Carrow Road. West Brom again in possession. Again a reverse ball attempted, this time by Yokuzlu, but it's won back by Kenny McLean. Trying to release Sargent. He's onside. He's got in between the two defenders. Sargent into the area. 1-0 to Norwich. After all the play that West Brom have had in these opening 12 minutes, suddenly a simple through ball gets Josh Sargent away on the right-hand side, and he did not fail when faced up by Alex Palmer, who got something on it but couldn't prevent it hitting the back of the net. 5 for the season for Josh Sargent, and Norwich City lead in this crucial championship game. Norwich 1, West Brom 0.
And this is exactly what Daniel Wagner would want. David Wagner wants them to be more progressive on the counter-attack, looking to be sharp. 3 passes and they should be in. It's exactly what happens. Lovely ball in to Kenny McLean. He then just waits and waits for the run, and Sargent just tries to keep himself onside. I think he does with a little step to his right, and then once he's through, he composes himself, and it just shows if you get the power down low to a goalkeeper. Yes, Palmer gets a touch. Yes, you maybe get a little bit lucky because it then still bounces into the back of the net, but it doesn't matter. It's on target, it's with power. It's a good finish from Josh Sargent.
And that's 5 in 8 league games for the American. And I was talking to you, Dean Ashton, about him before kick-off. When Sargent first came from Werder Bremen, when Norwich were a Premier League side, he looked completely out of his depth. Wasn't enjoying his football, it seemed to me, as Norwich, really struggled to find the back of the net. But back at Championship level, he got his fair share of goals last season, and that goal return, he's been out since August to December with injury, but back in the side, and my, how they've missed him.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, not only off the ball is he wonderful and got real energy in the press and intelligent in the press, but now going forwards, he's a real threat. He looks and has the feel of a player that's going to score when he goes through, which is massive for any forward. But I just think he was 21 years old when he came into the Premier League. I think that was... I don't actually think he was brought in to necessarily go straight in the team and play, and he had to in the end because of circumstances, and maybe lost a lot of confidence because of that. He's starting to regain that confidence and starting to look like a proper player, certainly at this level anyway.
So Josh Sargent gives Norwich the lead here on Talksport 2. Quarter of an hour played. Long ball forward looking for Ashley Barnes, but Kipre wins the header. And it was a very intelligent run from Sargent in between Connor Townsend, the left back, and Cedric Kipre, the left-sided centre-half. And the coolness of the finish saw Alex Palmer thump the turf in frustration with his right glove. He felt he should have done better at keeping out the shot. But 1-0 it is to Norwich City here on your home of the EFL. Earlier, Southampton 3-1 winners at Swansea to go second in the Championship table. Above Ipswich, you go to Leicester on Monday night. That's live and exclusive to National Radio here on Talksport 2. And we've got live Championship for you tomorrow as well. Leeds, who are very much in the promotion hunt, at home to Preston North End. That's tomorrow lunchtime on Talksport 2. And we've got a bit of NFL tonight. Bit of Baltimore Ravens as we reach that sort of win or go home stage of the NFL season.
Lovely.
More details on that coming up in just a bit, but a throw to Norwich City, sent forward, and a poor touch from Yokuzlu, and Sainz is fouled by Bartley as he was on his way through the centre of the field. Now, I don't think it's denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity, because I think there were other defenders on the cover. It is just going to be a yellow card for Kyle Bartley, but it's definitely a deserved yellow card because he took out Bortha Sainz with a very professional challenge. 1-0 Norwich.
Well, either the ball or the player was not advancing any further. Bartley had just made that decision. He dived in. I think he makes that decision as well because I think he knows Furlong is right there alongside him. So it isn't going to be a red card if he misses out. But he took a big chance in the way he dived in at Sainz.
Sainz is just getting some treatment. He'll have to go off the field before this free kick's taken. Yeah, it's Houston Texans at Baltimore Ravens tonight. Nat Coombs will be your presenter here on Talksport 2. If you love your NFL, it's great coverage that we bring you direct from the US. So the NFL playoffs live. Houston Texans at Baltimore Ravens. The commentary of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And it is win or bust, basically, at this stage of the season for all the NFL fixtures that we bring you. And then tomorrow on Talksport 2, we do bring you EFL Live. 11:45 is when our coverage starts. Kick-off at noon. Leeds United against Preston. And then in the WSL straight after that, Manchester City women against the Liverpool women, as the WSL returns after a little winter break. Sainz is back on his feet, and he's having to wait on this near touchline because the free kick is being debated between Kenny McLean and Gabriel Sara. It's a good 35 yards out, just to the right of centre. I'm not sure whether Sara fancies this, Dean Ashton.
I'm pretty sure he will. He's got a magnificent left foot.
Three-man West Brom wall standing at the edge of the D. Up steps Sara, left foot, and hits it into that wall. Ricochets out to Jonathan Rowe at the right-hand corner of the box. Tries to roll Brandon Thomas Asante. Couldn't get past him and just clipped him and fouled him. Free kick to West Brom in their left-back position. Back in League One, a second goal for Blackpool at Bristol Rovers. Karamoko Dembele makes it Bristol Rovers 0, Blackburn 2. And Will Boyle has been sent off for Wrexham in the Wales derby, North against South. Newport against Wrexham, 17th against 2nd. But Wrexham down to 10 men, a straight red card for Will Boyle.
Yeah, just going back to that goal from Sarge, I wonder if he did his homework, because as a player I used to look at goalkeepers and what did they do when you tried to smash that towards their legs or just to either side of their legs. Some goalkeepers tend to go down with their arms at that point, and some used to use their legs. I always think Emi Martinez is the type that would use his legs to make a save in those situations, which I used to hate. The goalkeepers, like Palmer's just done there, when he tries to dive down really low to the side of his feet, that's the ones that you think you can score against with enough power, and that's what Sargent did.
Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Danter here at Carrow Road. We're approaching the 20-minute mark. Norwich in front after West Brom dominated the early stages. Here come West Brom again. Townsend, left-hand corner of the box, plays it across the penalty area towards the penalty spot, and it just didn't find its way through to Brandon Thomas Asante, and Norwich bring it clear. Dangerous ball in along the deck from Connor Townsend.
I thought that was a terrific ball. There just wasn't a player who'd made that near-post run. That's the only thing. If they get it wide, you've still got to have the numbers attacking those crosses. There was only two players going in, and they both went towards the far post.
So Norwich in front. No further clean sheets today for West Bromwich Albion. Barrow 1, Crewe 1. Crewe equalise up in Cumbria. Elliot Nevitt for Crewe. West Brom head the ball back towards the Norwich penalty area, but it's very calmly half-volleyed downfield by Shane Duffy. But first to the ball is John Swift. Furlong sends the ball back into his own half, and Bartley and Kipre can exchange passes. Kipre keeping Semi Ajayi out the side. He's been terrific this season, Cedric Kipre, and he's managed to weigh in with a goal as well. Bartley just rolls his foot on the ball and looks for an option just shy of the halfway line. Furlong passes over halfway out to the right-hand side, but Swift can't get any further forward. And so West Brom have to start again from the back with Bartley. 1-0 to Norwich City. If you're just tuning into EFL Game Day Live here on Talksport 2. On a crisp winter's afternoon, but certainly not as cold as it's been the last couple of days. But Dean Ashton's got the regulation bobble hat on.
Of course. Heating up, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a heated bobble hat, is it? Not like these heated gilets everyone's wearing. I do hope
they
not.
exist yet, do they?
Not long. Dragon's Den, something like that. Here comes Connor Townsend for West Brom. Infield for Reach. Had the ball taken off his toe. And Jonathan Rowe bringing it away up to halfway. Jokuslu slides in. He wins it back. Possession being given up by both sides here as Thomas Asante further loses possession and the ball sent back by Barnes to his keeper.
Yeah, it's tightly bunched in the middle of the two defences at the moment. So when it does go into midfield, that's where it is tight. There's loads of space out wide for either team when they do attack, but in the middle, very, very congested.
You're listening to Norwich 1, West Brom 0 in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and you get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Norwich fire the ball over the halfway line. Townsend intercepts for West Brom and Reach passes along the halfway line to Swift. Out quickly to Wallace, back in the side today for West Brom after nearly a month out with injury. Yokuslu in the centre circle. Strokes it neatly out to Cedric Kipre, stood on the halfway line to the left of centre. Has to lay it off to Alex Mowat. Two very similar systems being deployed here this afternoon. And West Brom are making it work for them. At least they were at first. But Norwich have the lead through Josh Sargent. And now Jack Stacey has a bit of green grass to gallop into as he moves into the West Brom half down the Norwich right. Sargent showing for him down the right-hand side of the area, but the offside flag goes up against the American. And it's a free kick to West Brom. Chance gone begging there for Norwich to create another big opportunity.
He's just got to be a little bit brighter there, Josh Sargent. He can see Kipre's back, so just make sure you're onside to that defender, not knowing what's behind you and whether Bartley can just step up and catch you offside. Just make sure you're not offside to that player that's directly in front of you that you can see.
So West Brom coming forward again. Bristol Rovers get a goal back at home to Blackpool. Bristol Rovers 1, Blackpool 2 in League 1. Chris Martin with the goal for the Gas. Kipre for West Brom. Bang on halfway. Townsend in a bit of space just down beneath us to his left. And Bristol City 1, Watford 1. So Watford weren't in front for long. Scott Twine recently arrived at Bristol City. Gets the goal to get the Robins level. And Burton 1, Charlton 0. No winning for Burton, but Martin Patterson in charge. They were unlucky at Derby on Monday night not to get anything out of that game. And Fleetwood 0, Portsmouth 1. That's bottom against top. And top dominating Abu Kamara gets Portsmouth ahead, although they've been on a bit of a wobble. Just 1 win in 7 for the league leaders. Kidderminster 0, Aldershot 2 in the National League. Burton 1, Charlton 0, I just mentioned. And West Brom a goal down here to Norwich, and we've played 24 minutes of this first period. Ball's floated out to Wallace on the far side of the field in front of those Albion fans in the south stand. Shapes to go on the outside of his opposite number, Borthascites. Now does go on the outside, tries to whip the cross and it's deflected up in the air. Gibson heads it half clear, nodded back across the box by Furlong, but McLean will head it out of harm's way for Norwich for a throw on the far side. 1-0 Norwich.
But you can see, Dance, why they've been harder to beat, why they have been on a slightly better run, because they are so very, very deep, Norwich. Defensively, they'll sit right in. They'll say, we're going to be compact. We're going to try and give something on the counter-attack, but our first thought is everybody's in their shape, everybody's doing their jobs.
Now Stacey again has got loads of room to gallop into down this right-hand side for Norwich. Gets over the halfway line. Now the space is closed down by Reach. Goes infield to Sarah. Sarah tries to play a 1-2 with Rowe. Doesn't work out, but then West Brom give the ball away. Stacey in space on the right-hand side. Whips across it. Kipre only gets it half clear. Sargent at the edge of the box. Couldn't get the shot away the way he wanted. Just drops on the right-hand side for Borthascites, but he lobbed the ball over the bar when well placed. It's a goal kick to West Brom. But again, Norwich on the counter-attack. Got in behind West Brom there for a moment.
Yeah, Stacey being given the licence to get down that right-hand side. Yanulis just tucking in at left-back. Decent cross in, falls to Sargent. They didn't nearly make enough of that. Sargent couldn't get out of his feet for his first strike that was blocked. And then when he chested it down to Sainz, he then had a flick at it rather than having a genuine attempt. And it felt like an opportunity lost.
26 gone on Talksport 2. Norwich 1, West Brom 0. In the Scottish Cup, Motherwell 1, Alloa 1. Connor Salmon, I hope he rose at the far post to get that one. An equaliser for Alloa. And the ball's back with Cedric Kipre just in front of his own penalty area for West Brom, wearing their dark blue chain strip with a little bit of a faint red sash going from left shoulder to right hip. Here is Yokuzlu, back for Alex Mowat, the two defensive midfielders for West Brom, sitting quite deep. Now it's sent out right to Bartley. Yokuzlu again, steps away from Barnes and threads the ball up to halfway, but Wallace sees Gibson get straight in on him, and now Josh Sargent again showing that energy, just scampers away with the ball at his feet and lays it off to Giannoulis. And now Norwich have it at the back. McLean dropping in between the two centre halves. He's played at centre half lately in the absence of the likes of Gibson. Grant Hanley out as well for a little while for Norwich. His leadership always welcome at the heart of the Norwich City defence. The Scot. Ball's back with another Scot, Angus Gunn.
I think they're very similar, aren't they? Yokuzlu's the player for West Brom that just sits in between the two centre-backs when they have the ball. And then that's an extra defensive play if you do give the ball away.
Swift finds Thomas Asante for West Brom. Flicks it out to this left-hand side for Connor Townsend. QPR 1, Millwall 0. Ilias Chair. QPR no win in 8, but in front at Loftus Road. Bromley 0, Borehamwood 1. Billy Sass Davis in the National League, and Stenhousemuir 1, Stranraer 0 in the Scottish Cup. 1-0 to Norwich here if you're just tuning in to Talksport 2 this Saturday afternoon. But here come West Brom down the right hand side with Darnell Furlong. Digs out a very deep cross. Adam Reach heads it down in the area, but it will drop for Jonathan Rowe, who can bring it clear for Norwich. Feeds it out to Jack Stacey, who did brilliantly to keep control of it, and then Jonathan Rowe tried to touch it around Cedric Kipre, but Kipre was too wise for that. Put his foot in. Goes out for a Norwich throw. Norwich 1, West Brom 0. Here's Dean Ashton.
What Norwich have done very, very well is when that ball is wide and played in, if it's not been defended well enough to stop the cross, they've got so many players in and around their two centre-backs that it's making it very difficult, even if it's nodded down, for a West Brom player to get on the end of it.
Don't forget, this week Talksport 2 brings you exclusive commentary of England cricketers' tour of India. First of 5 tests begins on Thursday in Hyderabad. First thing in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Set your alarms. Hear every ball live and exclusive on Talksport 2. You download the app to listen wherever you're going. If you take the dog for a walk, going for a run, whatever it may be, working from home, in the office, trying to listen to it surreptitiously, dead easy. Download the app, and you can also subscribe to the Talksport Cricket channel on our YouTube service for more outstanding content and exclusive content from our team in India, including the likes of Darren Gough, Kevin Peterson, David Bumble-Lloyd, all out there, ball-by-ball commentary. And good luck, England. And it's very difficult to win Test series on those flat tracks that the Indians provide that do such good work for their spinners. Now, way down the left-hand side for Norwich comes Demetrius Giannoulis into the edge of the centre circle. Barnes finds Stacey. Lovely sweeping move for Norwich as they come down the right-hand side. Stacey's attempted cross is blocked by the back of Connor Townsend, but it comes back out to Sara. Stacey again. This is on the Norwich right-hand side as they attack the river end in this first half. Rowe takes over. Right-hand corner of the box. Gets away from his man. Gets a left-footed shot away. Punch clear by the goalkeeper, Alex Palmer.
Well, I don't think the Norwich supporters will mind defending if then when you do break, you break with such quality and purpose with their passing. Great movement off the ball as well from the forward players. Releasing Stacey again on this right-hand side. Just couldn't, again, quite work it the first time, but then when it was recycled by Sara into Rowe, lovely feet to get it out of his feet. He's not going to waste an opportunity. Decent strike. Good height, though, for the goalkeeper, just around chest height for him just to parry away.
Giannoulis leaves it down the left-hand side for McLean. Now good ball turned in field. Giannoulis has moved into the centre of the West Brom half. Finds Rowe at the edge of the area. Left-footed effort. Brilliant save, Alex Palmer. Full length to his right-hand side. Tipped it behind for a Norwich City corner on the half hour at the river end. Norwich lead 1-0.
That's one of his big strengths, Jonathan Rowe, is he can go either foot, right or left. He fakes to go with the right this time on the edge of the box. The players, Connor Townsend definitely goes for it, falls for the right foot, ducks back in onto his left-hand side, curling towards that far post. And doesn't it always look better when a goalkeeper goes with the opposite hand to just flick it away? This time it was the left-hander Palmer.
Corner kick, Giannoulis to take it for Norwich onto the 6-yard line, headed away by Bartley. And Thomas Asante brings the ball further clear for West Brom. tries to clip it down the left-hand side, but Norwich have won it back. They've got players forward. Sargent sends it down the right-hand side for Stacey. Now Rowe again, right-hand corner of the West Brom box, gives it back to Stacey on the right wing, faced up by Townsend, goes into the box, and then Sainz tries to wriggle clear of a couple of challenges. Rowe will pick it up right on this near touchline. Plymouth equalise against Cardiff. That's 1-1 at Home Park. Ryan Hardy equalises for the Pilgrims. Here's Sarah for Norwich City. They've calmed it down a little bit and have the ball on halfway, do the Canaries. McLean looking for an option. Finds Jonathan Rowe on the right-hand side. Good early ball in field for Sainz, who moves forward. He's got Stacey outside of him, who picks it up now, level with the edge of the West Brom penalty area. But Norwich will elect to go back in field for Kenny McLean. Back for Stacey, hugging the near touchline. But West Brom are trying to close down those spaces. They're better organised at this point.
Yeah, again, they're happy to sit in and defend and allow Norwich just to have a bit of possession in the wide areas and then look to pounce. But Cole Brown wants a little bit more, furiously waving his arms about, wanting more from his team to press. And actually, even though they've had more of the possession, Norwich have been a lot more productive with their attacks. I mean, 6 attempts with 3 on target to the 1 and 0 of West Brom.
Well, what have you got percentage-wise there, Dean?
61% for West Bromwich Albion at the moment.
But Norwich have the crucial stat that matters. They lead by a goal to 0 on Talksport 2. And now Kenny McLean has been released down the right-hand side. There's nobody in the left-back position for West Brom. Townsend's tucks it inside the area. McLean across the face of goal. It might drop for Barnes. On the far side, it's Dimitris Giannoulis who fires it over the bar wastefully from a really good position. Just lashed at it and couldn't keep it down. Goal kick to West Brom. 12 to half-time on Talksport. The Canaries lead 1-0.
They're finding so much space on the right-hand side. The left-hand side defensively for West Brom just hasn't been good enough. Adam Reach probably just needs to adjust his position to help Townsend out. Got down the right-hand side. Kenny McLean did the right thing, diving towards the byline, cutting it across. It then fell to Giannoulis because he had so much time to take it down, and he probably heard and felt the support from the Norwich end asking him to shoot. The pressure was too much. He'd gone to absolutely rip the leather off it, and up and over it went.
It's going to have to be a change here, think, for West Brom, because Okay Yukuzlu has gone down injured off the ball, and he's sat just outside the Norwich penalty area, his own penalty area, rather, looking a little disconsolate. Might have done a knee or a hamstring, but he's certainly not particularly happy, and there was a very quick bidding from Carlos Corberán to get West Brom players back from warming up to maybe give him an option. Meantime, Wigan lead Reading in League One. No winning 4 for the Latics, but Thelo Asgard has given them the lead against troubled Reading. Newport lead the 10 men of Wrexham by a goal to 0. You heard that Wrexham had a man sent off. Well, Seb Palmer-Holden has just put the Exiles 1-0 up at Rodney Parade. Of course, they've only got Manchester United coming a week tomorrow in the FA Cup. But everybody in the Newport team is playing for their places this afternoon.
Absolutely.
9 cup ties from the FA Cup 4th round live across the Talksport network across next weekend, including that game, which is our exclusive commentary on Sunday afternoon at Rodney Parade, Newport against Manchester United. Yukuzlu is back on his feet, but he's not moving well at all. I think his race is run, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, just the physio just giving him a couple of pats on the back as if to say, don't worry, it happens, but let's get you off. And
Nathaniel Chalaba's going to come on to replace him, which is a fairly obvious straight swap in that defensive midfield position. So with 10 minutes to half-time, West Bromwich Albion forced to make a change to bring on Nathaniel Chalaba for the injured Okay Yukuzlu. And Chalaba, who joined from Fulham in January, hasn't scored yet. Former Chelsea youth. And he will now look on as Palmer prepares to take a goal kick after that somewhat wasteful chance from Dimitris Giannoulis. But Norwich still lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, I mean, a slightly different player, of course, Chalaba. I think he'll be more of the one that gets forward now. And actually it'll be Mowat that really sits in, maybe drops in between the centre-backs. Hasn't had a lot of chance, though, has he, Chalobah, to actually play in this West Brom side?
No. Yukuzlu's been preferred, and Mowat generally. That's the voice of Dean Ashton. You can hear alongside me Ian Danter here in Norfolk. And Norwich still lead by 1-0. 8.5 to half-time. Giannoulis, who just had that really decent chance inside the box for Norwich, rolls the ball in field to Sargent, who just calmly lays it off to Ben Gibson. Now McLean, again, splitting the two centre-halves for Norwich, finds Duffy. Gets it back from Jonathan Rowe. Wallace looking to pressurise McLean, who's in the centre of his own half. And then a long ball just clipped down the right-hand side by Duffy, asking Barnes to give chase. But he won't catch up with that, and it drifts out of play for a West Bromwich Albion throw.
Yeah, red dart in behind, if we can call it that, from Barnes. There, poor ball from Duffy. He had actually made an intelligent run there, Barnes, between the two centre-backs. But the ball just arcing away and out of play. But I think David Wagner will be really pleased, actually, with both in and out of possession in this half. It's been one of the better displays here at Carrow Road in that sense, anyway.
Well, the goal certainly helped, because the first 10-12 minutes West Brom were carrying the greater threat and looking more comfortable in possession. And then Josh Sargent changed all that with a very quick counter-attack and a calm finish from the American. That's what separates the sides at the moment, with 7 minutes to half-time. John Swift just drops his shoulder, coming down the left-hand side. Ball with the outside of his boot into the area. Oh, and Furlong went round the keeper and didn't quite get there in time. Ashley Gunn got something on it, and it's cleared away. Angus Gunn got there just ahead of Darnell Furlong, who made a brilliant run across from right back to almost the left-hand side of the penalty area, but just didn't make it in time.
I mean, I was looking at Furlong's reaction, which I thought said a lot, and I just think he gets something on it, Angus Gunn, because his reaction wasn't enough for me to think that he hadn't. It's brilliant goalkeeping. If you're gonna decide to come out, you've got to get the ball, and he did.
Using his legs, as you were saying before about, stopping efforts on goal. Sometimes you use your hands, some goalkeepers use their feet. Definite use of the feet there to clear the ball, but it is now a West Bromwich Albion corner that John Swift is going to take in the snake pit corner of the ground, where the City stand meets the Barclay end. Nobody at the near post for West Brom. Lots of players around the penalty spot. In it comes from Swift. Deep to the far post. Bartley with a header, and he heads it back to Swift. Looked like he was on target for a minute, but it comes out to this left-hand side. Swift to the byline, digs out across, but can't wrap his foot round it enough, and it just goes out on the full for a Norwich City goal kick. Just over 5 to half-time here on your home of the EFL, and it's Norwich 1, West Brom 0. Dean Ashton.
Kenny McLean does brilliantly here, because I really fancied Carl Bartley just to come over the top of him and then head it down and into the back of the net, but he just did enough in the way that he really backed into Bartley to make sure he couldn't get that clean header. Ended up heading it, like you say, all the way back to Swift.
Norwich in possession inside their own penalty area, and Duffy really fizzes it across the face of his own goal for Angus Gunn, and Swift nearly got a toe end on that, and they've given away a throw. That was needlessly giving away possession there for the hosts.
It was, but I think that pleased Corberan on the side, because he wants a little bit more of that from his side, not to give Norwich too much easy possession, to press them, to try and unsettle them at the back, which has happened here at Carrow Road a couple of times. The opposition have come here and done that, and Norwich have lost possession and conceded.
Chalobah picks up a short throw from Furlong, whips the ball into the area, volleyed clear for Norwich by McLean. Sargent is giving chase towards the halfway line, and he'll pick it up out on the far side. Great run forward from Jonathan Rowe if he can spot him on this near side, but he's gone down the left-hand side to Borth the Saints, and now West Brom have got players behind the ball, but Saints still does well to keep possession and fire it back in field. Brought forward by Duffy, plays a 1-2 with Rowe, and now the ball's back with Ben Gibson, and he shovels it out to the left-hand side, and Giannoulis just inside his own half. Oh, heavy touch allowed Wallace just to get a piece of it, but it is a Norwich throw at the end of it all. They've had a very up-and-down season, Norwich. They were unbeaten in their first 4 games of the campaign, then just 2 wins in 11, had David Wagner under an enormous pressure before a vital win at Cardiff, heralding a run of just 1 defeat in 8. So they've been as high as 2nd and as low as 17th in the table this year, Dean.
That says everything about this season for Norwich. But this is definitely an improved performance, I would say, although they're giving it away.
They're giving it away to Jed Wallace, trying to play it through the legs of Kenny McLean, but it ricocheted off his knees and back into Norwich possession. Stacey fires it downfield. Barnes giving chase, trying to put Bartley under pressure, and he just put him under too much pressure, just had a little nibble. And it's a free kick to West Brom. Coventry lead at Sheffield Wednesday. Dean and I were at the CBS Arena last week to see them see off Leicester, and they're performing well again, Dean. Ben Sheaf with the opener at Hillsborough, and Peterborough United 0, Shrewsbury Town 1. No clean sheet now in 7 for Peterborough. They are 10 unbeaten in the league, but they're behind. Jordan Shipley has put Shrewsbury ahead at London Road. Now here's Nathaniel Chalobah doing a Kenny McLean and splitting the two West Brom centre-halves who've switched sides for a moment. Kipre now playing on the right of the two. Bartley on the left. Run down the right-hand side from Swift. He's got into the area. Can he pull it back from the dead ball line? He just saw the ball skip away from him. Lovely floated pass from Kipre down the right-hand side. And if the ball had just held up a little, then all the Norwich players had stopped Dean Ashton.
Yeah, they had. They felt he was offside, but actually Angus Gunn again makes a really good decision. He thinks about coming, and then he just drops back, and the skid of the first bounce just takes it away from Swift. Otherwise, if he'd have got hold of that, all he would have had to have done is just lifted it over the Norwich goalkeeper into the back of the net.
Gunn will clear it right-footed downfield, wearing all grey this afternoon, the Norwich keeper, with pink boots and pink gloves just to make him stand out a little bit. And West Brom have a throw in their right-back position. 2 minutes of normal time to go in this first half.
That's one thing I would always have done if I was a goalkeeper and goalkeeping coach, is make yourself as bright and as daft as possible, because that's the first thing you see as a striker. As you turn and put your head up, if that's what you see is the brightness of the kit, that can put you off.
So what you're saying is Jorge Campos wasn't as nutty as we all thought.
No, he wasn't.
Look him up if you haven't seen him before. Stick that into your search engine and see what colours you see on your images. Jorge Campos, Mexican international. So, throw into West Bromwich Albion as we edge towards half-time here on Talksport 2. Poor throw from Furlong, but the ball went straight out of play as Borthascience couldn't control it as he attempted to bring it clear. So now Furlong throws it back towards the halfway line, and Bartley back in his usual position now on the right-hand side of the defensive four. A through ball attempted by Mowat to get reach in, and he's lost possession, and Norwich have it back, and Barnes trying to release Josh Sargent. He's picked it up and he's now moving down the right-hand side of the area. He's got Stacey joining him on the overlap, but Sargent goes infield to Gabriel Sara. Steps onto his left foot, clips it out to the left-hand side for Dimitris Giannoulis. First-time cross from the Greek, maybe. It is a first-time cross. It's quite deep. Barnes heads it down to the edge of the area. Sara just lays it off to McLean in the centre of the half. Stacey, diagonal ball into the box, goes over the head of Sargent, and they'll bring it clear West Brom with Jed Wallace. Oh, poor ball. Straight in field to Gabriel Sara. And Norwich ending the half strongly. We're about to find out how much additional time at the end of this first period. Barnes is clattered into by Kipre, and Norwich win a free kick as we head into added time. Again, about 35 yards out, and somebody might fancy a crack at goal here. 1-0 Norwich lead.
They've looked a lot more dangerous, that's for sure, going forward, Norwich. Every time they've broken, Josh Sargent has just got that extra bit of pace, hasn't he, to get in behind of the West Brom defence, whereas Barnes hasn't. So it has to be him that makes those runs in behind. Good combination between the two forwards. They've got to try and make more use, though, of those good positions that they find themselves in.
We're into 4 minutes of minimum added time at the end of this first half. And Norwich, who lead by a goal to nil, have this free kick a good 35 yards out. Once again, the West Bromwich Albion wall, which is 4 strong, is level with the edge of the D. Kenny McLean's come over to have a chat with Gabriel Sara, standing at a very tight angle to the ball. He's really going to whip this with his left foot. Does whip it, goes for goal. It's not far over. Palmer was at full stretch, but it landed on the roof of the net, having hit, I think, the post behind the goal. It's a West Brom goal kick, 1-0 to the Canaries.
Yeah, it always looks close, doesn't it, when it hits that stanchion part of the goal, the netting that just sticks out at the back there towards the pole. I mean, it was obvious where he was going to hit it, though, wasn't it? With this angle that he was running up at, there was no way he was going to whip it back across to the opposite side. So really, Palmer shouldn't have made it look as if he was as far away as he was.
West Brom in possession at the edge of their own penalty area. Risky ball from Kipre, but it comes off and it breaks for Jed Wallace, who can move over halfway. Options left and right for West Bromwich Albion. Picks out Adam Reach, left-hand corner of the penalty area. Tried to square it across for Swift, but Stacey and Rowe between them got back and cleared the danger. Townsend up against his opposite number, Stacey, loses out to the Norwich fullback, and now Jonathan Rowe. Lovely ball in field. Sargent's away again, but he's offside. Flag goes up against the American, who thought he was in on goal once again, as he was when he scored. But it's a West Brom free kick instead. 1-0 Norwich.
Oh, it felt close. It was right in front of the dugouts as well. I think you could tell actually by the Norwich staff that he might have just been a couple of yards off there. A good tight line from West Brom.
Yeah, they've stayed in their seats, basically. That's what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Surrounded the fourth official, Greg Reed, rather Dean Whitestone as the fourth official. Ball into the box. Thomas Asante equalises, but the whistle's gone for handball from Brandon Thomas Asante. Sonny Gill spotted that Asante controlled the cross with his arm. It's a great finish from out of nothing for West Brom as the ball sent out to the left. Townsend whips it in, and it was brought down by the right arm of Thomas Asante. And on seeing the replay, correct decision, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, definitely. You could just tell by the way the ball fell that that hadn't been controlled with anything other than the arm, in the way that it just cushioned down into his path. You're right, lovely swivel and finish, but it's a great decision from the referee and well spotted.
Thomas Asante, the man that scored the winner when West Brom beat Norwich by a goal to nil at the Hawthorns just a few weeks ago. Only one defeat since then, which was a 1-0 defeat down at Swansea. They have lost 3 of their last 4 away, West Bromwich Albion, and that pattern is continuing to develop here with Norwich ahead, bang on half-time. We're in to the last 30 seconds of the minimum 4 that the referee has added on here. Ball out to the right-hand side, and Chalobah looking to release Wallace, who won't get in behind Giannoulis, but then Giannoulis gives the ball back to Wallace. Early ball into the area. Thomas Asante looking to wriggle clear of Sara, but Sara gets a foot in and wins it back for the hosts. And then Bortha Sainz is just clipped as he was running back to his own penalty area. Norwich have a free kick, and they should now go in at half-time in front, Dean Ashton. Indeed they do, as the referee brings the first half to a close, and Norwich, looking to close the gap on the top 6 in the Championship, have the advantage at the break, given to them by American Josh Sargent. Super finish from the American to make it 5 in 8 league games after he was sent clear in between left back and centre half. Cool finish under the keeper, Alex Palmer. That after the opening 12 minutes, when in truth West Brom looked very composed on the ball and offer plenty of threat. They have had the ball in the back of the net, the Baggies, since going behind, but it was ruled out for a handball against the man who stuck it away, Brandon Thomas Asante. And plenty of food for thought for Carlos Corberán, as West Brom are failing on the road once again, as they have recently. Half-time score at Carrow Road, Norwich City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Thank you very much, Ian Danter. That was a frustrating first half, I would say, if you're a West Bromwich Albion fan, Dean Ashton. But Norwich looked in control of that until that equaliser that was disallowed went in.
Yeah, I think they've approached the game as they have done in recent weeks, Norwich, in that they're going to sit back, they're going to defend, and they're going to try and be really useful on the counter-attack, and that has worked. West Brom have had plenty of the ball and got into positions where they can cross, which is where they're very useful, and Thomas Asante has looked very, very sharp. But I've actually been slightly disappointed, actually, with West Brom in terms of that end product, in terms of getting bodies into the box. And that's probably one of the best performances I've seen from Norwich, certainly going forwards, alongside that defensive display as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation that Carlos Corberán's going to have with his players at half-time. What more is he going to want?
Well, having watched him for periods of that half on the sideline, he's not hard to miss. He's constantly jumping up and down because I think he wants a bit more pressure put on the Norwich players, especially when West Brom lose the ball, give it back to Norwich. I think he wants a bit more then to go and win it back, not allow Norwich to then be able to play through and be a danger on the counter-attack. And I think he wants a bit more energy from his side, who have been a little bit passive when Norwich have then had the ball.
Yeah, and as Dan said at the end there, they're not great on their travels, West Brom, necessarily. So all to do in the second half for them. Norwich a goal to the good. Go get yourself warm for at least 10 minutes, Dean. I'll speak to you very shortly. Elsewhere today on the Talksport network, in the Premier League, live over on Talksport, it finished Arsenal 5, Crystal Palace 0. 2 goals from Gabriel, 1 from Leandro Trossard, and 2 injury time goals from substitute Gabriel Martinelli. Means pressure on the Crystal Palace boss, Roy Hodgson. Arsenal stay third, but have done their goal difference the world of good, haven't they, in the chase for Manchester City and Liverpool. At 5:30, Ivan Toney is likely to start his first game in 8 months as Brentford host Nottingham Forest. We'll speak to our reporter Sam Ellard very shortly. Tomorrow on the Sunday session on Talksport with myself and Perry Groves, we'll bring you updates from Sheffield United against West Ham and Bournemouth against Liverpool. And on Monday night, Talksport has live and exclusive commentary of Brighton against Wolves. Obviously a reduced Premier League schedule at the moment with the winter break ongoing. Right, I mentioned Brentford's game with Forest. 5:30 that kicks off. Sam Ellard is going to be watching this one at the Brentford Community Stadium. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm very well, Faye. Good afternoon. How are you?
Very good, thank you. This game is all about Ivan Toney's return. Can you imagine if he's on the bench?
No, I know. But poor Sergio Reguilon could be making his Brentford debut today, and just no one cares about it, do they?
Poor guy. Poor guy. I mean, we do care. We do care.
Oh, I care.
Natalie Sawyer cares. I'll tell you that.
She definitely
much.
cares. I've seen her already. Trust me, she cares.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, isn't it? You know, has he lost that match sharpness after 8 months out? You know, or is he just going to hit the ground running because he's so instinctive in front of goal?
Yeah, I know it's going to be fascinating. Certainly hearing him speak over the last couple of days to the media, he sounds like a guy that's hungry and is fit and is ready. He's obviously been able to train over the last couple of months. I mean, his record in the Premier League, I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but he's got 32 goals and 64 Premier League appearances at Brentford. His numbers are absolutely phenomenal, and you know, he's coming back at a time for Brentford where they desperately need him. I mean, I've covered a lot of Brentford here, Faye, since they've won promotion to the Premier League. You know, they've been a mid-table team. Their home form in particular has been really, really impressive. But this season they're struggling. I mean, they're 16th in the table. They're only 3 points above the relegation zone, and their form this season has been poor. They've lost 7 of their past 8 matches, including each of their last 5. So they need Toney back. They need him scoring goals. They've obviously clearly missed his firepower up front, and also as well, they've got to keep hold of him this month. I'm sure they will keep hold of him this month. I think it would take a massive offer for Brentford, you know, 2 places and 3 points above the drop zone to either consider selling Ivan Toney. That's probably more likely in the summer, but they need him back, and he seems like a guy that is fit and ready to go, Faye.
Yeah, it really does, and actually it's key, this game, in terms of the relegation battle. If Nottingham Forest and Brentford don't want themselves to get sucked further into it, as you said, Brentford just 3 goals above Luton Town, who occupy that 18th spot, and Forest are only a point above Brentford, so 3 points really key. And actually, this is Nottingham Forest's first Premier League game since they were hit with that charge because of profit and sustainability guidelines.
Easy for you to say, Faye, isn't it? I'm glad you took that word, not me.
Not in the slightest. Are they going to be galvanised by it?
I think so.
What Everton have done.
Yeah, I think so. I think Everton's first game after they were really, really galvanised by it. I've been actually on the pitch. I always felt like, Faye, with Nuno, it was really, really important for him to get off to a good start as Forest manager. We know that Forest fans loved and adored Stevie Cooper, and you know, rightly so. He did such a good job there in a short space of time. And normally in football, it's kind of the fans turn on the manager, and that kind of forces the owner's hand. Where in this case, it was a little bit different. You know, the Forest fans loved him, so I felt he had to get off to a good start. And he's picked up, you know, in the league two really, really impressive wins. You know, beating Man United at home and going to Newcastle. It was scrappy in the week in the FA Cup replay at Blackpool. They did their best to lose that game, but they got off to a good start. They've got a lot of players missing today. 6 players on international duty. That's more than any other team in the Premier League, which is going to be a massive blow for them. Then Morgan Gibbs-White as well. I always think, Faye, when Forest do well and win, a lot of the good stuff that they do comes through Morgan Gibbs-White. So him not being available for the next couple of weeks is going to be a big blow.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game. Look forward to hearing all your updates, Sam. Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful day, Faye.
You too. Wonderful Sam Ellard there. He'll be bringing updates on the game day phone-in over on Talksport from 5:30. At half-time here, though, it's Norwich 1, West Brom 0. Josh Sargent's 13th minute goal separating the two sides as it stands. Second half commentary coming next, and we'll also bring you all the half-time classified scores.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League. EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. How's this for a tasty lineup? A McCrispy and a strawberry milkshake. Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
It's the UK's biggest used car sale, with savings on over 20,000 used cars. It's Arnold Clark's only sale of the year. The real sale is back. It's the sale you don't want to miss. Nobody does it bigger. Nobody does it better. The Arnold Clark Real Sale is now on. For stock verification and to find the car you're looking for, visit arnoldclark.com.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £100 off per couple. So escape to sunny favourites like Greece, Portugal and Italy. And spread the cost with flexible monthly payments. Book now with just a £60 deposit per person. Jet2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. APTRA Natural Protected. Subject to availability and conditions.
Dive into the NFL playoffs with 888 Sport, official partner of the NFL. Because it's made for big games. It's made for a wild card.
Didn't see that coming.
It's made for game-changing plays.
What a catch. And with Bet Builder Blitz from 888 Sport during the playoffs, get your money back as a free bet up to £10 if your Bet Builder loses. Available every game day throughout the playoffs.
888 Sport, official partner of the NFL.
888 Sport.
18 plus. Minimum odds apply. For full terms and conditions on this promotion, visit 888sport.com. BeGambleAware.org.
Tackling sport from every angle. Top. Official broadcast partner of the EFL.
This is Game Day. Halftime classifieds.
This is EFL Live on Talksport 2. I'm Faye Carruthers. Let's get your half-time classified scores, shall we? Starting with
Premier League.
It was a full-time result at the Emirates. Arsenal 5, Crystal Palace 0. Brentford Nottingham Forest is a 5:30 kickoff.
Sky Bet Championship.
Full-time result at the Swansea.com Stadium. Swansea 1, Southampton 3. At half-time, it's Blackburn 1, Huddersfield 1, Bristol City 1, Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0, Rotherham 0, Norwich 1, West Brom 0, Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1, QPR 1, Millwall 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 1, and Stoke 0, Birmingham 1.
Sky Bet League One.
Lots of games postponed in League One and League Two. These are the games that are going ahead, though. At half-time, it's Bristol Rovers 1, Blackpool 2, Burton 1, Charlton 0, Exeter 0, Cambridge 0, Fleetwood 0, Portsmouth 1, Leyton Orient 0, Bolton 0, Lincoln 0, Derby 0, Peterborough 0, Shrewsbury 1, Wigan 1, Reading 0.
Sky Bet League Two.
Barrow 1, Crewe 1, Gillingham 0, Forest Green 0, MK Dons 1, Morecambe 0, Newport 1, 10-man Wrexham 0. Well, it was a fascinating first half of football at Carrow Road. Here's how it sounded.
Your Kuzlu, but it's one back by Kenny McLean. Trying to release Sargent. He's onside. He's got in between the two defenders. Sargent into the area. 1-0 to Norwich. Yanulis leaves it down the left-hand side for McLean. Now good ball turned in field. Yanulis has moved into the centre of the West Brom half. Finds Rowe at the edge of the area. Left-footed effort. Brilliant save, Alex Palmer. Gabriel Sara standing at a very tight angle to the ball. He's really going to whip this with his left foot. Does whip it. Goes for goal. It's not far over. Palmer was at full stretch, but it landed on the roof of the net. Ball into the box. Thomas Asante equalises, but the whistle's gone for handball from Brandon Thomas Asante. Plenty of food for thought for Carlos Corberan as West Brom are failing on the road once again, as they have recently. Half-time score at Carrow Road. Norwich City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
By the way, in the Barclays Women's Super League as well, it's full-time at Meadow Park. Arsenal 2-1 winners over Everton. Beth Mead with the eventual winning goal. Back at Carrow Road, and as you heard there, Josh Sargent's goal separating these two sides. But West Brom are going to want to, bearing in mind they're cemented their kind of fifth place in the playoffs at the moment, keep Norwich at bay, who are creeping up on the playoff spots. Can you imagine Carlos Corberán making any changes, Dean Ashton?
No, I don't think so, because they had a lot of control in that game. I just maybe a few tweaks at times. I think Adam Reach was a little bit narrow for me and allowed Norwich then all that space on the right-hand side. So I would ask him to play a lot wider, or I would swap him and Wallace, because neither have really shown the best of themselves in that first half. And I'd get Swift a little closer to Thomas Asante at times. He started to drop Swift and try and get involved in the play because of Norwich's very low defensive shape. He's then dropping really deep, and he's their creative player. He needs to be as close to the edge of the box as possible.
Maybe this game is, a tailor-made for somebody like Andreas Weimann to come on and be that player that's a bit closer to Thomas Asante.
Yeah, I think, a player that would be happy and willing maybe to even run beyond Thomas Asante, rather than him having to constantly make the runs on his own.
Certainly a West Brom equaliser that stands is going to turn this game a very, very different way and maybe open it up a little bit, Dance.
Oh, yeah, very likely.
Oh, are you eating?
How can you tell?
You caught me just at the right time.
Unbelievable.
I agree with you. And West Brom have got to arrest this away form. We mentioned 3 defeats in their last 4 away, including at Swansea on New Year's Day. And Corberán's trying to find that balance and blend that works better on the road. Now, he's getting players back. There are still a couple of players out. Josh Match is going to be out for the season, I think. And that's a blow, because that's another clever option that they've got up front.
Also, he could bring on DK. He could put Thomas Asante wide. He has got options, but I think he is likely to leave it with the players that he's still got out there.
Well saved, by the way, Dino. What are you eating, Dan?
We were given
sticks to your mouth a bit, that cookie.
Nice chocolate chip cookie downstairs. Now, I can tell you that...
well done, Norwich.
Andy Johnson, who works for the West Bromwich Albion club, he's had 4 of those at half-time. I can't
believe you just outed him like that.
No, he just gleefully looked at me and held up 4 fingers pointing to it. So, they're tasty, but I don't know.
Listen, I've been lucky enough to sample Delia's food at Norwich on many occasions. It's absolutely delightful. Of course. How did you not think about that?
Does she get busy in the kitchen before kick-off?
Yes,
is that it?
She's got her apron on. Of course she has.
I see. OK, well, every day's a school day.
That sounds to me as if the players are on their way back out. By the way, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer joined Max Rushton and Charlie Baker on the warm-up earlier on this morning, discussing, among many things, his love of Arsenal and his quest to be the next Prime Minister. You can find the full interview right now over on the Talksport YouTube channel. But back to football matters and your commentators for the second half of Norwich City against West Brom, former Norwich striker Dean Ashton, and your commentator, delightfully filled with cookie, Ian Dancer.
Certainly am. Thanks, Faye. It's the Norwich players who are out first. No sign of the West Brom players as yet. Norwich City, who got Leeds United next in midweek, and that's going to be live on Talksport 2 Wednesday evening at Ellen Road. Daniel Farker up against his old club. He came here early in the season, and I'm told by the Norwich press team here, loved it, got a terrific reception, having won 2 promotions. Does get you in the Norwich fans' good books, even if it didn't necessarily end well for him. West Brom next up. Well, it's only the Black Country Derby in the FA Cup at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And the great thing is, I'll say this as well, they've pegged ticket prices at the Hawthorns. They've not, taken advantage of the fans and just bumped the prices up artificially.
Yeah,
they've made prices very reasonable. So
that's good. I'll be there for Talksport. I can't wait.
Should have a full house.
Just about.
For that game. Well,
just about.
If you're not, then Wolves will have a fair old allocation in the Smethwick end as well. Some early goals in the second half around the country. Burton are 2 up on Charlton Athletic through John Brayford. So Nathan Patson could be heading for his first win as the new manager at Burton. And Birmingham have gone 2-0 up at Stoke. Fan me down, Dean Ashton. Juninho Bacuna has got the second goal. And Tony Mowbray might, I'm going to go heavy on the might, be on his way to his first league win as Birmingham manager, one in the Cup in midweek. Now, we were talking about Andreas Weimann before, Dean Ashton, and he is being introduced for Adam Reach at the start of this second half. So, Adam Reach is withdrawn by Carlos Corberán, and the recent loan signing from Bristol City. Andreas Weimann, who started his career just down the road from West Brom at Aston Villa, gets his chance from the off and looks to be going into, well, we'll see how it settles, Dean Ashton, but going into a similar position that Reach had on the left of a 3 in behind Thomas Asante.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, from a defensive point of view, he was way out of position, Adam Reach. Obviously still coming back from a long layoff, but Weimann might just give them a little bit more going forwards and getting closer to Thomas Asante in this half.
We'll run you through the lineups in just a minute. It's a second change for West Brom. They were forced into a change in the first half due to an injury to Okayu Kuzlu. So it's Gunn in goal for Norwich. Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, Yanulis, McLean, Sarah, Rowe, Barnes, Sainz and Sargent, who's scored the goal that separates the sides. For West Brom, Palmer is the keeper. Furlong, Bartley, Kipre, Townsend. It's now Chalobah with Mowat holding. And now Wallace, Swift and Weimann in behind Thomas Asante. Norwich in there, yellow and green, attacking the Barclay end as they love to do in the second half of matches. That's away to our left-hand side of the Barclay end. The West Brom fans opposite us in the corner of the south stand. And West Brom in their chain strip of those dark blue shirts with a faded red sash. They're attacking the river end away to our right-hand side, having made that half-time change. Darnell Furlong wants to take a quick throw for West Brom.
Already a visible change in terms of pressure. Weimann there, as soon as that went back to Duffy, he was out of that left-hand side position and pressing Duffy, not allowing them just to play easily into midfield. I think that's definitely one thing that Corberan wasn't happy with in the first half.
Bartley will give the ball back to Cedric Kipre, midway point of his own half for West Bromwich Albion. Weimann is making a lovely run infield from the left-hand side. Kipre acknowledges it, but doesn't give the ball to the Austrian. Instead, it's Bartley who looks to send the ball down the right-hand side, but everybody had bent their run infield in the direction that Bartley played the pass, and it's straight back into the arms of Angus Gunn. 1-0 Norwich.
Yeah, it's no good putting your hand up to say that you've seen it. Play it. That was on. There's a couple of times that ball has been on for a West Brom defender, and they just haven't wanted to play it over the top, really.
Norwich coming forward, clipping the ball into the path of Jonathan Rowe, takes it on his chest, tries to lob it infield looking for the run of Yanulis, and a slightly wayward clearance from Darnell Furlong lands on the roof of the City stand above us, and Norwich have to retrieve a ball from one of the cones around the pitch in the multi-ball system to restart play. Throw in almost level with the West Brom penalty area, down to our left-hand side, with Norwich attacking the Barclay end in the second half, if you're just tuning into EFL Game Day Live. 3 minutes gone of the second period. Norwich 1-0 up. And Angus Gunn, their keeper, spreads play out to this left side for Dimitris Yanulis. He's taken a touch and he's got Darnell Furlong backpedaling. Just gets the ball under control now. Flicks it infield to Bortha Sainz. Sainz spots a bit of space for Jack Stacey on the Norwich right over on the far side of the field. Midway point of the West Brom half. It's rolled infield to Jonathan Rowe. Top scorer for Norwich this season with 11 in the Championship. And now Kenny McLean darts forward over the halfway line. Good run from McLean. Whips the ball into the edge of the area looking for Ashley Barnes, but it's volleyed clear by Bartley. Lovely patient skill from Mowat. And now it's released by Chalobah for Andreas Weimann. First chance to attack the Norwich backline. To the edge of the area. Swift gets a right-footed drive when it's deflected wide by the defender Yanulis for a West Brom corner early in the second half at the river end. 1-0 Norwich.
Not good enough from Swift. That's such an easy opportunity. It's a really good pick out from Weimann to Swift on the edge of the box, and that first touch just isn't good enough. It gets away from him and allows Yanulis to stick a leg out to block it. That should have been a chance and a strike on goal from Swift, and it wasn't.
But he's going across to take the corner where the South Stand meets the Regency. Peterborough have equalised at home to Shrewsbury. 1-1 through Joel Randall. Corner to West Bromwich Albion, who trail by a goal to nil. Clips into the near post by Swift, comfortably headed clear by the first defender, Sarah. Drops for Connor Townsend in the centre of the Norwich half, but he has to go back via Mowat to his keeper, Alex Palmer. Plymouth have come from behind to lead at home to Cardiff City in the Championship. Ryan Hardy with the second of the afternoon. Plymouth 2, Cardiff 1. And Leyton Orient, they lead Bolton by a goal to nil. 4 unbeaten, the O's. And Daniel Aguier has put them in front against Bolton, who lost to Luton in the Cup in midweek. Here's Alex Mowat for West Bromwich Albion. Gets over the halfway line. Sargent kind of tracking his run, but he's able to play it out to that far left-hand side for Weimann. Townsend on the underlap. And he's offside as he received the pass, even though he thought he'd won a corner. The flag had long since gone up on this near side. And Norwich have themselves a free kick just to the right of their own penalty area. They lead by a goal to nil. Here's Dean Ashton.
I mean, they'll feel like they'll need the second goal, Norwich, and they will expect a bit more pressure from West Brom. Might open up a few more gaps for Norwich on the break, which is generally how they've played this game. They do struggle to keep clean sheets, Norwich, that's for sure. All season they've looked vulnerable.
Yeah, none in 6 before today in all competitions. But they are 6 unbeaten here in front of their own supporters, Norwich City. And Angus Gunn in possession. They're trying to play the ball out from the back here, at least they were at first. Yanulis down the left-hand side, threads it up to Ashley Barnes on halfway, but across came Jed Wallace. Chalobah flicks it on, might break for Darnell Furlong. No, Borthasites gets back for Norwich and wins possession midway point of his own half. Yanulis again on this near touchline, tries to spread it infield. They've given it away. Chalobah now picks it up for West Brom. Slides in Jed Wallace down the right-hand side of the area. Pulls it back inside the box. It's Swift. He's put it wide. Another great chance for John Swift to get West Brom level. And he had time to set himself before getting the right-footed shot away, but it went the wrong side of the post for a very frustrated Carlos Corberan. 1-0 Norwich lead.
This time he got the touch absolutely spot on. Jed Wallace cutting it right back to the edge of the area for Swift. Takes a brilliant touch, and he's trying to do the goalkeeper here. He's trying to show as if he's going to play it to the left-hand side of Angus Gunn and then pull it right across, and he just gets too much on it and pulls it past the post.
Chance gone for West Bromwich Albion, but they've won possession again through Chalobah. Good ball in field. Now Swift can supply Andreas Weimann, left-hand corner of the area. Again, Townsend goes on the underlap. It's given back to Alex Mowat. Mowat at the edge of the area, out towards the left-hand side. Now feeds Connor Townsend. Townsend's ball in. Weimann comes off the top of his head. Wallace with a left-footed volley. It's just the wrong side of the post again for West Brom. And they're starting to turn the screw here on Norwich, who lead by a goal to nil. 7 gone in the second half.
And they're starting to get way more players into the penalty area when that ball's wide. 5 of them in there this time. It falls to Jed Wallace out of the sky. He watches it right onto his left foot. And again, just hits it past Yanulis towards the near post. Angus Gunn, cool as you like, basically thought, I've got my angles right. I know it's going wide. He didn't even move.
That's what he'd tell you.
Yeah.
Here's Gabriel Sara fighting for possession on halfway. And he was just caught by John Swift. Free kick to Norwich City, who lead by a goal to nil. MK Dons 1, Morecambe 1. Jordan Slew equalises for the Shrimps, who've got no win in 6 in League 2. Motherwell in front against Alloa Athletic once again in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Motherwell 2, Alloa 1. And here on Talksport 2, we've played 53 minutes of this match. Norwich City leading West Bromwich Albion by that goal to nil, given to them just before the quarter-hour mark by Josh Sargent. So as it stands, Coventry are winning. Norwich will be in 8th place and still be 2 points off the top 6. Ball played into the edge of the area, and a flying header from Jonathan Rowe goes well over the crossbar. Goal kick to West Bromwich Albion. 25,800 here today, including 1,400 Baggies fans away to our far side on the south stand.
Yeah, really good ball in from McLean. Jonathan Rowe does really well because he just hands off Kipre a tiny little bit to just give himself the space to try and get the header, but it comes at him too quick. He's not set.
Well, that's a lovely ball from Kipre, sliding it up to halfway, and Wallace carries it over the halfway line. Rowe can't get back, and then Wallace goes for goal and lifts it over the bar. He made such an intelligent run from inside his own half. Well found by Kipre. Just made a straight line run through the centre of the Norwich half. Got to the edge of the D and got the shot all wrong, Jed Wallace. Norwich still 1 up.
That's rare. That's rare for him to be so uncomposed once he gets into the position to have the strike, Wallace. He'd done brilliantly to drive all the way to near the edge of the Norwich penalty area. And then just when he needed that composure and those little steps before he takes the strike, he just didn't get himself set and just overstrided before the shot, and then just got it horribly wrong because of it.
Norwich 1, West Brom 0 on Talksport 2. Coventry have a second at Sheffield Wednesday elsewhere in the Championship. Ben Sheaf is on a hat-trick. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 2. Coventry going to go 9 unbeaten at 10 unbeaten, it seems. What a run Mark Robbins has his team on. They left it very late to sneak in the playoffs at the end of last season, Coventry. They're doing it an awful lot earlier this season. They lead 2-0. Norwich lead 1-0 here at Carrow Road. Out to the right-hand side, West Bromwich Albion trying to build from the back with Kyle Bartley. Has to roll it back into the centre of his own half for Cedric Kipra. Now out to the left-hand side. Vyman has come very deep to pick up possession for his new club. Bartley, well, just shy of the halfway line, Kyle Bartley. Plays a 1-2 with Chalobah. He was going to play it outright to Darnell Furlong on this near side to us. Instead, he spots the run of Vyman making a run down the right-hand side of the box, but it's overhit once again by the West Brom centre-half. And he acknowledges that he gave too much welly to that, and it's a goal kick to Norwich City. Dean Ashton.
But we didn't see that from Adam Reach, that run from that left-hand side, arcing past your centre-forward, trying to get the ball in behind. We didn't see it once in that first half, so a slight change, that's what he will give you, and then possibly the opportunity for Townsend to overlap as well.
You're listening to Norwich 1, West Brom 0 in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and you get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Free kick to West Brom, little nibble by Ben Gibson on Brandon Thomas Asante. And they want to take the free kick quickly, at least the way that Chalobah's moving towards the ball indicates he does, but he was taking it from the wrong place. They have taken it short, worked it out to this near side, the West Brom right, and Wallace. Furlong steps away from sides, gets to the byline, digs out the cross into the near post, volleyed away by Gibson, and out of play it goes. No, it's kept in play quite superbly on this side by Bortha Science, but in keeping it in play, they've given the ball back to West Brom on the halfway line. Alex Mowat driving into the Norwich half. Hits it against the referee when he was trying to spread play for Conor Townsend, so it's going to be an uncontested drop ball for West Brom.
Yeah, how dare he get in the way? It's difficult, isn't it, sometimes for the officials to know exactly where to be. Good for Norwich.
I don't think Sonny Gill could have done a great deal about that, in fairness.
It's not as if Mowat can't see him in his bright blue refereeing outfit.
West Brom coming forward again. They're a goal down here, the Baggies. Looking to arrest a poor run of form on the road. Remember, I was saying earlier, they've been perennially fifth in the Championship for quite some time now. And they will stay there regardless of what happens this afternoon. At the moment, they're leaving Carrow Road with nothing. And they've just given away a free kick. Chalobah with a foul this time on Ashley Barnes. And Norwich get a free kick. Bromley 2, Bournemouth 1 in the National League. Remember, no Premier League games at 3 o'clock today. Arsenal won on Talksport at lunchtime. Well, handsomely won 5-0 against Crystal Palace after their difficult run. Whilst here on Talksport 2, you heard Southampton breaking records as their unbeaten run becomes their best ever in their history as they won 3-1 at Swansea City. Here's the free kick for Norwich. Sarah sends it into the edge of the West Brom area. Heads go up. It's headed across the face of goal by Duffy, but it was away from West Brom. But they try and recycle it, Norwich, and it's headed awkwardly away by Alex Mowat. Kept in play down by the corner flag at the Snake Pit by Bortha Saints. Rolls it back to Sarah. Sarah with a right-footed ball, but it's straight down the throat of Alex Palmer, who clutches hold of it gratefully. Norwich 1, West Brom 0, approaching the hour mark, Dean Ashton.
Strange decision there for Gabriel Sarah. He is extremely left-footed. Why just try and throw one in with the right foot? Try and find yourself a different angle, a different position, not just gift the ball away.
West Brom in the middle of their own half with Nathaniel Chalobah. Early pass from Kyle Bartley gets Darnell Furlong away down the right-hand side as he moves into the Norwich half of the field. Three waiting for a cross. Furlong tries to get to the byline and send a cross in, but it was good backpedaling and covering from both the sides. Prevented the cross coming in, and it's a West Brom throw. Taken quickly by Furlong. To Nathaniel Chalobah. Thought about giving it back to his fullback, but instead it goes infield. And then a bit of space on this near side for Chalobah as he receives it once more. Is he going to whip it in? No, he's going to leave it for John Swift. He puts the ball in and headed out by Gibson for a West Brom corner at the River End. An hour gone on Talksport 2. It's still Norwich 1, West Brom 0, but West Brom have a corner.
Yeah, and they keep getting into good positions to cross the ball, don't they? It's whether the ball isn't quite good enough, or actually maybe give credit to Norwich in terms of being in good positions, having bodies in the box to defend.
Changes a foot for Norwich City, but the short corner for West Brom meantime. It's rolled back to Alex Mowat at the edge of the area. Left-footed daisy cutter, only half clear. Back to Mowat again. His second shot is charged down by Duffy, and now suddenly Norwich City are on the counter-attack down the right-hand side. It's Kenny McLean who has to check his run once he got to the halfway line. Slightly surprising scoreline in the Championship. Middlesbrough 0, Rotherham 1. Rotherham lead through Cafu. Just shy of the hour mark at the Riverside. Barrow 1, Crewe 2 in that game between 4th and 5th in League 2. Crewe in front, they were behind. Lewis Billington putting Alexandra 2-1 ahead. Meantime, the ball's back with Ben Gibson for Norwich City. Still leading West Brom by that goal to nil given to them inside the first quarter of an hour by American Josh Sargent. Ball down to halfway. Kipre wins ahead. It was being barged into by Josh Sargent. So even though Norwich won the ball back, referee pulled it back for the push on the Albion centre half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how this change will just move the players around in the Norwich team. I think it is Marcelino Nunez coming on. Yeah, and I think he wants some control with the ball. Maybe it might be Barnes that maybe is sacrificed.
Townsend left-hand side for West Bromwich Albion, gets to cross in. It almost dropped for Andreas Weimann, but he almost moved past the ball before it had reached him. Just couldn't control it. Mowat scrapping for possession with Sargent. In steps Jonathan Rowe, good strength from the youngster, and then clipped out of play. It's going to be a throw-in to Norwich City. Will they make the change now? David Wagner still talking to Marcelino Nunez. They've taken the throw quickly, Norwich, and they've not made the best of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a double change. Maybe Fastnacht is another player to come on, but West Brom have been so dominant in this second half. It doesn't surprise me that Wagner is looking to make changes.
Wallace with a fairly casual ball, looking to get Furlong away down the right-hand side. He lost out in the end, but a couple of kind ricochets get the ball back in West Brom's possession. 62 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Norwich 1, West Brom 0. Connor Townsend in a bit of space down the West Brom left as they're attacking the River End in the second half. Chance maybe for a cross from Townsend. Feints to cross, but then he's held up by Jonathan Rowe. Has to go back in field first to Mowat, and then Kipre just ahead of the centre circle. Sweeps the ball out to this near side, the right, and Darnell Furlong plays the ball in field to Chalobah, given back to Furlong, almost at the right-hand corner of the box. Wallace showing from down the line, and the ball's overhit and just trickles agonisingly out of play for Jed Wallace, and it's a Norwich City throw in their left-back position. And Fastnacht and Nunez still wait to be given the all-clear to come on, even though it's Norwich's throw here.
They've got to try and not get frustrated, West Brom, because they've got plenty of control in the game, and it was the right thing to do there, Connor Townsend, not just playing it in if the forward players aren't ready and you haven't got numbers in there.
Well, now they are going to make the double change. And Bortha Sainz is the first player coming off to allow Christian Fastnacht to enter the fray. The utility midfielder from Switzerland. Managed a few goals this season so far. 4 in the Championship for Norwich. And as Fastnacht comes on, so too does Marcelino Nunez, and he's coming on for Josh Sargent.
They're being very cautious with him since his injury. You know, he's not played a huge amount. He was just left here in Norfolk in midweek against Bristol Rovers. They're trying their best, I think, to really give him every chance to get back without having any setbacks at all. But it seems like a little surprise, doesn't it?
It means Rowe's going to play as the central striker, and he's running through the middle now as Norwich get fast-knacked away for the first time. Jack Stacey down the right side of the box. Early ball in. Great ball in, but it was well defended by Kyle Bartley on his 6-yard line, with Rowe just behind him, waiting to pounce if he hadn't connected. And the brilliant break.
Brilliant break, but they should have been a bit further and a bit quicker up the pitch. That first little pass just was a little bit slow. Just allowed Kipre to then get across to Stacey to put the pressure on. It's a decent ball in. Only 2 Norwich players in the box. Not enough really to cause a problem.
25 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Norwich holding on to this 1-goal lead against West Bromwich Albion. Throw in from the right-hand side is hooked high in the air by Connor Townsend. Sheffield Wednesday get a goal back against Coventry. Josh Windass, that's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Coventry 2. And Stoke get a goal back against Birmingham with a Bet365. Jordan Thompson makes it Stoke 1, Birmingham 2. Gillingham lead beleaguered Forest Green Rovers by 1-0. Troy Deeney sacked after 6 games. And they are a goal down. Forest Green down at the Priestfield. Gillingham starting the day in 8th under Stephen Clements. West Brom a goal down. Feed Connor Townsend, left-hand side, midway point of the Norwich half. The cross is deflected into the path of Thomas Asante, who gets a shot away from a very tight angle that is cleared behind for a West Brom corner. 1-0 Norwich.
Yeah, it's a good job that Gibson just followed that run from Thomas Asante, made sure he was there to block the left foot swiveled volley in West Brom forward. That was needed as well, but yet to have a shot on target, West Brom, which again I think says everything about the quality of their opportunities, but also the amount of numbers defensively that Norwich have had back.
Daryl Dike is going to be on in a minute, but meantime, corner kick for West Brom, deep to the far post, looking for Kipre, headed away by Duffy for Norwich, but it will drop out on this near side, the West Brom right, and Vyman goes out to retrieve it. Now Connor Townsend in the centre of the Norwich half. Works it out to the left, and Wallace with a first-time cross in. Bartley can't win the flick on. Comes out to John Swift. Townsend again in the centre of the Norwich half. Spreads play out to the left once more, and Jed Wallace. Wallace will get it back from Mowat. He's a bit deeper now towards the centre circle. Diagonal ball out to this near side. Picks out Andreas Vyman. Just a clip ball in field for Swift. Swift with a cross. Thomas Asante with a header. Good save on his goal line by Angus Gunn. It looked just for a moment that header was goal bound from Brandon Thomas Asante, but Angus Gunn had other ideas. Norwich still lead 1-0.
Yeah, it was actually a tiny deflection on the Swift cross that just meant it went into the path of Thomas Asante, but it also meant that the pace on the cross was just taken off, which made it even more difficult for Thomas Asante to have to get the power and the direction to get it past the Norwich goalkeeper. So in the end, quite a simple save for Angus Gunn.
Midway point of the second half on Talksport 2. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you. Norwich City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. But West Bromwich Albion asking a few questions here. But as you say, Angus Gunn yet to make too many saves, although he's made his first decent save of the game from their first effort on target from that Brandon Thomas Asante header. Now ball played out to Darnell Furlong on the West Brom right, level with the edge of the area, shapes to cross with his right, then goes with his left. It's headed out by Gibson, but Alex Mowat first on the scene. Peterborough have turned it around at home to Shrewsbury and are in front, 1-0 down, but now 2-1 the score at London Road to the Posh. Throw in for John Swift down the left-hand side. Is he going to leave it for Connor Townsend? He is, but this is what's going to allow the change to be made. And it's a straight swap up front. Dean Ashton, Brandon Thomas Asante is sprinting off the pitch to allow the American Daryl Dike to enter the fray.
I'm surprised at that, because I think he's been super sharp, Thomas Asante, and actually it would have probably helped him to have had Dike up there with him. So, little surprised at that, but that's why he's down there and I'm up here.
But you were down there. Let's face it.
Not
quite a few times. I see what you mean.
Not with chinos and a club coat on.
No. He's got those, Carlos Corbrand's got those very tight figure-hugging tracky bottoms on. We show off the calves. Norwich 1, West Brom 0. Just over 20 minutes to go. Norwich are doing what they have to do here to get 3 precious points, but they need that clean sheet. Will they get their first clean sheet in 7 games?
It's not pretty though, is it? It's definitely, we are parking the bus. We are not allowing West Brom any space in the middle. We're going to defend in numbers. We're going to be really deep. It's not pretty,
but pretty effective so far, at least. But West Brom have made another change to try and change the angle of attack. DK a much more physical presence up front than Thomas Asante. Clearance from Giannoulis downfield. Chalobah, brilliant flick to get it away from Ashley Barnes and give it back to Mowat. Mowat at the edge of the centre circle, spreads play out to the West Brom left, and Connor Townsend faced up by Fasnacht. So he doesn't cross, instead he works it back to Mowat. Mowat now chips the ball into the area looking for the run of Townsend, but it's cleared away by Norwich City. And Christian Fasnacht will lay the ball off to Jack Stacey, hurries the clearance somewhat towards halfway, and it's picked off by Cedric Kipre, and it's coming back at Norwich once again. Townsend for West Brom, down the left-hand side, finds Vyman. Now Alex Mowat looks to slide in Townsend behind. Well stepped out there by Jack Stacey to intercept the attempted through ball. And now Barnes calling for it further forward, and he gets it now, lays it off back to halfway. And now Nunez infield to find Sara. Sara's got Rowe to his left, and he's got Giannoulis in space on the left-hand side. Across the face of goal, 2-0! Jonathan Rowe! Again, Norwich on the counter-attack. Pick West Brom apart. And it's the top scorer, Jonathan Rowe. He makes it 12 for the campaign. Scores at the Barclay end. And maybe that is that for West Brom with 20 minutes to go at Carrow Road. Norwich keeping pace with the top 6. Norwich 2, West Brom 0. Well, they've offered absolutely nothing going forwards in this second half. But when you have players with the quality of a young 20-year-old Jonathan Rowe, you've got every chance if you get it right. It was a brilliant break. Nunez into Sara. He just waits and waits and picks the perfect time to play it to Giannoulis. Really unselfish from the left back, just to square it across to Jonathan Rowe. He's great with both feet. This was on his left foot, and he just taps it home past Palmer, who dives out of the way of the ball to give Norwich a 2-0 lead. Well, this young man has been at the club since he was 11 years of age, Jonathan Rowe. I'm sure he can barely believe what a breakthrough season this has been for him so far. 12 championship goals, and he's a genuinely two-footed striker as well. We should attacking midfielder come striker. We should make that point.
Oh, he is, and it not only is it a great attribute to have, but it means that whenever somebody gives you the ball, they don't have to second guess it. And you don't have to second guess it as a player. You can just finish in the way that he did. Brilliant player, great breakthrough season. Probably plenty of other teams looking at trying to get his services.
Well, David Wagner will want to hold on to him this month. That much is clear. Forest Green equalise at Gillingham in League 2. Callum Jones for managerless Forest Green. So 2-0 for West Brom. It's a long way back for the visitors, and they've just conceded a free kick. Vyman and Swift just couldn't let Fasnacht get away down the right-hand side, so they committed the offence. And Norwich, well, there's a few breathing a little easier around us here at Carrow Road after that second goal.
There is. I mean, this is going to have to be something that these supporters get used to, but if you can be as useful on the counter-attack as they have been today, Norwich, then this kind of style could really suit the players that they've got and could be very, very useful and effective in getting them into the playoff picture.
Just over a quarter of an hour to go. West Brom have got to up the ante again. They were showing good signs in the second half. A couple of efforts from Jed Wallace and John Swift. But here you are with Townsend down the left-hand side, crossing to the box. Furlong with a header. Another good save from Angus Gunn, plunging to his left-hand side. Furlong cutting in from full-back. Got there ahead of Daryl DK, but the header was well claimed by the Norwich keeper, 2-0.
Yeah, better save this one from Gunn. Really down to his left-hand side. A little bit higher than the previous one. Again, there just isn't the pace, really, on the header from Furlong. Just clipped in the cross. He's having to make the power himself and just couldn't, again, get the power to get it past the goalkeeper.
Push on Kyle Bartley from the vastly experienced Ashley Barnes, who can't quite believe the offence has been given against him, but it has. And the referee just having a quiet word with him, as if to say, oh, mate, I saw that.
That's usually what happens when you just barge someone in the back.
So West Brom, 2 goals down here, looking to respond as Mowat hits a long ball downfield, but it sails over the head of Vyman. West Brom will still pick up the pieces on halfway. Remember, more live football from the Championship tomorrow. Join us at 11:45. Leeds against Preston, a noon kickoff. And then Monday night, what a game in prospect. Live on Talksport 2. Leicester against Ipswich, the top 2 going head-to-head once again. Here's Mowat for West Brom, and DK with a header in front of goal. The flag's gone up against him anyway, and he headed it straight at Angus Gunn from 6 yards out.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it, for Daryl DK just to manoeuvre a defender out of the way, and Yanulis isn't exactly the biggest, and he just gave him a push, and down he went, and the referee's assistant flagging straight away.
Oh, poor clearance from Norwich, but they're bailed out by Marcelino Nunez, getting back and just hooking the ball away from John Swift as a ricochet looked like it was going to give West Brom an overload going forward. West Brom have won it back. Chalobah protects the ball on the halfway line from the attentions of Sarah. Lays it off for Kyle Bartley. Less than quarter of an hour to go on Talksport 2. Norwich 2-0 up here and heading for 3 precious points. And it will be 7 unbeaten at home. And home definitely where the heart is for Norwich City. A bit more belief and a few more sing-songs from the Barclay end. But here come West Brom again at the other end of the field, at the Regency end. Townsend with a cross, headed down by Andreas Vyman for Daryl DK. And Carlos Corberan does his nut on the near touchline because Daryl DK didn't go with his head, went with his left foot and skied it. 2-0 Norwich.
Yeah, I think this is a difficult chance, actually. He's not necessarily expecting it because it's such a Toblerone head header from Vyman. But DK's not expecting it, and he's stretching then in the end. You're right, I think he think he could go with the head. He ends up stretching with the left leg, and I think that would have been...
Was that intentional from Vyman then, or was he going for goal, do you think? Because it was
he was definitely
very acute angle. He was trying to head the ball across.
Definitely going for goal, and that's why DK wasn't quite ready and was stretching.
13 minutes to go. Ashley Barnes onside as Norwich come away down the left-hand side. You just hold the run for a moment and then calmly rolls it back to Jonathan Rowe. No panic and no hurry for Norwich at this point. They're 2 goals up and can control the game, control the passing. McLean on halfway, spots the run of Yanulis in behind Furlong. No flag from the referee, the assistant on the far side, and we play on. Mowat finds Chalobah, spins just shy of the halfway line. He's fouled by Kenny McLean, wants to take the free kick quickly, does. Out to this near side, the right, where it's picked up by Jed Wallace. Wallace, a free transfer from Millwall. It's been a terrific acquisition, and they need more of his quality from wide areas in these latter stages, West Brom, if they are going to stage a comeback. Swift, another free transfer for West Brom from Reading. Finds Cedric Kipre. Chalobah lays it off to Carl Bartley. Bartley fires it out to Furlong on the right-hand side. It was a heavy first touch, but he still manages to win it, and then shows too much of that to Ashley Barnes, and suddenly Norwich have a break on. Sarah up to halfway, feeds it out right to Jack Stacey on the halfway line. Stacey gives the ball back to Gabriel Sarah, who has to roll it back into his own half.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Even though they obviously want to get back into the game, West Brom, their natural instinct is to just all drop. You know, and then Norwich, once they do win it back, can then play it out towards their centre-backs and just slow the play down.
Here comes another Norwich counter. Jonathan Rowe approaching the area, plays it across. Oh, not sure he was trying to find there. It was nowhere near Christian Fasnacht. And then Wallace slides in very strongly on Demetrius Yanulis and rightly gets a yellow card for that challenge from referee Sonny Gill. And a free kick to Norwich just by the centre circle. Plymouth Argyle go 3-1 up on Cardiff City. Morgan Whittaker scores again. That's 15 for the season for the young man at Plymouth Argyle.
Yeah, he's a top player, isn't he?
He is. 3-1 to the Pilgrims, and they will keep their run of unbeaten games at home going up to 9. Thankfully, Fastnack back on his feet, and a free kick for Norwich City just inside the West Brom half to the left of the centre circle. In fact, before the free kick is taken, we're going to see another change. And Ashley Barnes is going to come off, and Adam Eder, the Republic of Ireland youngster, is going to replace him. And Barnes just given a little shove in the back by Jed Wallace as if to say, hurry up, mate. Get off the field. We've got a game to try and get back in here. But Barnes has put a shift in for his team this afternoon, Dean Ashton.
He has, and he does bring a different mentality, doesn't he, to any team. I think it was something that Norwich needed, was a player like him that's got that experience, got that a bit of nous in terms of winning free kicks and doing the defensive work also. But Eder, with his athletic ability, will, I think, give West Brom some issues on the counter.
Yeah, he's got some goals as well, second only to Rowe in the goal-scoring charts in the Championship, Adam Eder with 6. So he's on. We've got 10 minutes to go on Talksport 2. West Brom desperately trying to get back into this game, but Norwich have the ball again with Gabriel Sara. Finds Jonathan Rowe, left-hand corner of the penalty area. Steps onto his right, then back onto his left, teasing Darnell Furlong. Goes for goal at the near post. Good goalkeeping from Palmer, turning behind for a corner. But that, again, shows just how genuinely two-footed Jonathan Rowe is. 2-0 Norwich.
Yeah, that was brilliant from Jonathan Rowe, honestly. First of all, fakes to go with the right-footed shot, then just dances with a little step over away from Furlong, and then a really venomous strike towards the near post that needed to be palmed away.
So it will be Nunez with the corner kick for Norwich. By the snake pit, down to our left-hand side where the City stand meets the Barclay end. In it comes, deep to the far post. Good punch clear by the right fist of Alex Palmer for West Brom. Fastnack trying to win it back down the right-hand side of the area, but West Brom will try and clear their lines. Mowat looks up, just ahead of his own 18-yard line. Plays it out to the left-hand side, kept in play by John Swift. But West Brom need it down the other end of the field. Here is Nathaniel Chalobah collecting the ball just shy of the halfway line. Needs an option. Only one really square is Cedric Kipre in the centre circle. 2 more changes being readied by West Brom. We're going to see Caleb Taylor and Pippa on shortly for West Bromwich Albion. Ball's out of play for a throw to Norwich City. Meantime, with 8 minutes of normal time to go, here come the changes, and Pippa is coming on for Carl Bartley, and young Caleb Taylor is going to come on for, let me see, the board goes up.
That was Furlong.
Furlong, wasn't it? Darnell
Well, yeah.
Furlong's gone off to allow Taylor to come on. So just injecting a bit of youthfulness and pace with Caleb Taylor on there for West Bromwich Albion.
They've just lost their way a bit, haven't they? Obviously, with that Norwich goal, that second Norwich goal has just maybe knocked any of the confidence of getting back into the game for West Brom. And since then, they've just really struggled. I mean, they have struggled all game to create genuine, clear-cut chances anyway.
So Taylor is on as a centre-back, playing alongside Kipre Pippa in at right-back, where he played for Huddersfield Town, where he would have become well known to David Wagner, the Norwich manager, when he was there. QPR 2, Millwall 0. Sinclair Armstrong could be a first win in 9 for QPR in that London derby at Loftus Road this afternoon. Norwich trying to keep the ball in play at the dead ball line with Adam Eder, but just ran out of room, and it's gone out of play for a West Bromwich Albion throw. But time is running out here for Carlos Corberán's West Brom to do anything about this scoreline. Norwich have picked them off twice on the counter-attack to lead by 2-0. Middlesbrough have equalised at home to Rotherham. Marcus Force, 8 minutes from time, makes it Middlesbrough 1, Rotherham 1. And the attendance just being read out over the public address system. Now here's Kipre at the edge of his own area, being pressurised by Gabriel Sara, but managed to keep possession for the visitors. Now, Alex Mowat comes deep to pick up possession once again. Up to halfway, and Townsend hugging that far left-hand touchline. Kipre again, looking for an option. Hits a diagonal ball into out, looking for Pippa on this near side. It's a great pass, and it's found the right back. Up against Giannoulis and Rowe. Manages to flick it infield to Nathaniel Chalobah. Nathaniel Chalobah lobs the ball to the far post. DK across the face of goal. Ball's out of play. And in any case, Andreas Weimann was in an offside position as he tried to hook the ball back across the face of goal. Free kick to Norwich, and they're edging ever closer to 3 points here at Carrow Road. 2-0.
Yeah, not once has that cross had pace on it and been met by an attacker genuinely on the move. And I think that's where they've just fallen foul today. West Brom is the quality and pace of those crosses, and then the movement and the way that the players attack it. It's made it difficult for anyone on the end of those crosses to get genuine power past Angus Gunn.
Ida can't control the goal kick sent downfield, or the free kick sent downfield by Angus Gunn. Pippa will throw the ball back to the West Brom keeper, Alex Palmer. Rolls his foot on the ball, but bit of urgency required, I would suggest, here for West Brom. And it's a long ball hit downfield by Chalobah looking for DK, but that's very easy for Gibson to clear. But then a ricochet might allow DK to get there, but Gibson puts it out for a throw. It's deep inside Norwich territory, though. Down the West Brom right, throw in taken quickly by Wallace. Chalobah feeds it back out to this near side, the West Brom right, and Pippa trying to skip away from Jonathan Rowe. Wallace works it back infield to Taylor. Taylor across to Cedric Kipre. Caleb Taylor finds Chalobah, just trying to turn inside his man. McLean holding on to Chalobah, but the referee allows play to continue. West Brom trying to now spread play from right to left. Alex Mowat out to that left-hand side, and Connor Townsend. Townsend will roll it back to Mowat. Everybody in Norwich yellow and green behind the ball as West Brom have it at the edge of the centre circle. It's John Swift finding Alex Mowat. Again, Townsend the outlet down the left-hand side for West Brom. Leaves it for Mowat to swing in a good cross, but it's well headed clear by Shane Duffy. But again, because Norwich had so many back defending, when the ball gets to halfway, it's West Brom who retrieve it first, 2-0.
And it could be one of the reasons why Gibson has started this game, is because of the amount of crosses they knew they would have to face.
Now, Jed Wallace breaking down the right-hand side of the box. Puts a lovely ball deep to the far post. Nobody there for West Brom. Maybe slightly overhit from Jed Wallace, but not much, and it was inviting a header at the far post, but nobody there was there to apply it.
Yes, it's just not good enough if you're trying to score towards the end of a game and get yourselves back into it. You cannot not cover the area. So again, players have to make that effort to run off the ball into the penalty area.
That's the voice of Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Danta on Talksport 2. Norwich 2, West Brom 0. Talksport Breakfast back Monday from 6 with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend reacting to all the weekend's results. And no doubt there'll be more fascinating mongoose versus snake chat. As the ball sent into the area, Andreas Weimann fires the ball over the crossbar for a Norwich goal kick. Talksport Breakfast then back from 6 a.m. on Monday, and then White and Jordan, essential listening every morning from 10, digging deeper into the big footballing stories.
What I love about Jed Wallace is he very rarely does just stick the ball in. Most of the time he's really looking to pick a player out. You know, as a forward player, he must be great to play with, knowing that he's going to try and pick you out in the area rather than just lumping it in there.
Goal kick to Norwich. They lead 2-0 with 2 minutes of normal time remaining on Talksport 2. All the twos. The kick on halfway is headed out of play for a Norwich throw. So Norwich next up. They've got Leeds live on Talksport 2 Wednesday evening before their away trip to Liverpool in the FA Cup next weekend. Coventry at home, QPR away, Watford at home and Cardiff at home to come for the Canaries. Now here's Chalobah trying to win the ball back for West Brom on the halfway line. The ball break for West Brom and John Swift, who releases Connor Townsend again in a bit of space inside the Norwich half. Edging towards stoppage time here at Carrow Road, but West Brom are going to find 2 goals from somewhere just to get a point. Here's Mowat playing a square ball to Chalobah. Chalobah puts a diagonal ball deep to the far post. Swift will try and keep it in play before it goes out of play on the throw for a far side, but the ball just bobbles away from him, and it does go out for a Norwich throw. And there will be a double substitution for Norwich. Onel Hernandez is going to be coming on shortly, and so too is Sam McCallum, the left back. But that decision may well have to wait for a moment. David Wagner just giving some last instructions. Norwich are waiting to take a throw in their right back position, but nothing doing.
And he'll be
substitutions.
I think he'll be really pleased, David Wagner, in terms of the way they've defended. Again, they did the same against Southampton here and got a draw, you know, against the so-called better sides. That's sometimes what you've got to do. Like I said, it's not massively enjoyable to watch, but it is if you start to get those counter-attacks with the quality and speed that they have done today.
Out to the left-hand side it goes. Into 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this game. Suddenly DK picks it up left-hand side of the area. Clipped across by Townsend, but the flag has gone up against the American. Again, offside denies West Bromwich Albion as they move into the Norwich penalty area, and the Canaries have a free kick, and they will now make those changes and bring on Sam McCallum and Onel Hernandez. And the players coming off. Dimitris Giannoulis, who was a doubt for this game with a groin strain he picked up against Hull. McCallum played at left back against Bristol Rovers in the FA Cup replay, and he's going to play out time. And the other change, we'll see Jonathan Rowe, who scored the brilliant second on the counter-attack for Norwich. He's coming off, and Onel Hernandez comes on. It's a while since I've seen Jonathan Rowe live. Saw him earlier in the season, but mightily impressed with what I've seen this afternoon, I mean, Dean Ashton.
Considering, obviously, they're having to just show it in little bursts, you know, when he has those opportunities in and around the penalty area, he doesn't waste any time, and he's genuinely got real quality with either foot, and it was another good finish for another goal this season for him.
Remember, more live sport tonight on Talksport 2. NFL playoffs live from 9:15. We've got the PGA Tour first, the American Express at La Quinta in California from 7 o'clock through to about 9:15, and then Nat Coombs picks up as the NFL playoffs continue. It'll be the Houston Texans at Baltimore Ravens. Full commentary through to around about midnight here on Talksport 2 as the divisional playoffs continue in American football. We've played 2 minutes of the minimum 5 that have been added on. It's still Norwich 2, West Brom 0. And here's Cedric Kipre clipping the ball out to the left-hand side, and Alex Mowat spots Townsend making a run down the left-hand side. He's seen a lot of ball in that second half. Connor Townsend down the West Bromwich Albion left, but he just can't make it work for him.
It hasn't felt urgent, though, has it? Particularly from West Brom.
Here's Townsend again, ball in from the left-hand side. Half volley clear by Shane Duffy, and it will break for Alex Mowat. Mowat will guide the ball down for Nathaniel Chalobah, midway point of the half. Has to lay it back to Cedric Kipre. Kipre gets his head up, looks for an option right or left, gives it left for Mowat. Mowat fires the ball up to the left-hand corner of the box looking for Swift, but Norwich tidy up and get it clear. Flick in field from Nunez. Doesn't quite work for him. It's volleyed away. West Brom can't pick up the pieces, and Gabriel Sara chests the ball down midway point of his own half, but he's now lost out. Down the right-hand side, Christian Fasnacht will fire the ball up to the halfway line. Controlled by Ida, and then sent back into midfield for Kenny McLean. McLean now looks for McCallum. McCallum down the left-hand side, looks to slide in Onel Hernandez, who's just come on. Hernandez has just dispossessed Pippa. Down the left-hand side of the box, rolls it back to Gabriel Sara, who screws a right-footed shot horribly wide. And it's a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion, and that really could have rubbed salt into the wound for West Brom, but it's a goal kick to the Baggies.
Yeah, and I think you want him in those positions a little bit more, Sara. The only thing was, I thought Chalobah did well just to dive in as if he was going to make the challenge and then pull out at the last second, and Sara then just skewed his opportunity wide. I think if that is on his left foot, I think he probably buries that. The fact that it was his weaker right and the challenge from Chalobah just meant he didn't have the composure.
MK Dons 1, Morecambe 2. Morecambe lead late on after no win in 6. Charlie Brown. I hope he was sliding in at the far post to get that goal. Slide, Charlie Brown, slide. 2-1 Morecambe. Playing out time here at Carrow Road. Norwich nearly there for 3 precious points. Cross from the left-hand side for West Brom, looking for DK. Sam McCallum with a terrific defensive header, getting right to the pace of the game immediately, but it is another West Brom corner.
Yeah, they'll want that clean sheet, won't they? Norwich City. McCallum did brilliantly there just to get back and challenge DK, who thought he was about to have a free header.
Instead, it's a corner kick that will be taken by John Swift down the right-hand side. Swift fires it into the near post. Again, terrific defending, I think, by Shane Duffy, heading it back over his crossbar. Took a blow whilst he did that. And the referee just wanted to make sure that he's all right. And I think he is, and it's going to be another corner kick to West Bromwich Albion. We are dealing in seconds here on Talksport 2 at Carrow Road. 2-0 to Norwich City. And eventually Swift will have the corner kick. Coventry beaten Sheffield Wednesday. In it comes deep to the far post, well over the head of Cedric Kipre, and the offside flag goes up against a West Brom player.
I think it went out of play, didn't it, from Swift?
Out of play, so it would be a goal kick, which should just about see us through to full time here at Carrow Road. And it's not a white-hot atmosphere, but certainly there's a composure and happiness about the Norwich City fan base that they feel their team has got the job done this afternoon with a minimum of fuss.
Yeah, I think it shows what they're going to be like from now until the end of the season, Norwich, in the way that they're going to play.
Full-time whistle goes, and West Brom's woes on the road continue in the Championship. They've now lost 4 of their last 5 away games, and Norwich edge closer to the top 6 with a precious 3-point haul, and they've kept their first clean sheet in 7 games in the Championship. And 2 of their youngsters got the goals. Josh Sargent in the first, having been played clear. And Jonathan Rowe, their top scorer, got his 12th of the season when another brilliant Norwich counter-attack picked West Brom apart. West Brom had plenty of the ball, but couldn't make it count. Norwich then head closer to the top 6, where West Brom are still sat. Full-time at Carrow Road, Norwich City 2, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Thank you very much, Dan. They've actually moved up to 8th, Norwich, but Middlesbrough is still playing. They've pulled a goal back against Rotherham. It's 1-1 there at the Riverside, and if Middlesbrough do end up getting the winner there, they will go into 8th. But at the moment, Norwich are just 2 points outside of the playoff places. Are you feeling optimistic they can cement their place there at some point, Dean Ashton, or did you want them to kill the game off more?
I don't think kill the game off, because actually West Brom were pushing and creating opportunities without them being clear-cut as such. I think this is going to be the way that Norwich are going to play now for the rest of the season, which is to defend in numbers and then look to counter-attack. And I actually think it probably does suit the players the best with who they've got at the club at the moment. So I think if they can continue with that sort of defensive display and attacking intent and quality, I think they've got a good chance if they play like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it feels a more comfortable Norwich side as well. As you say, West Brom did have chances, but I think they'll be frustrated with the fact they didn't take any of those. They weren't all clear-cut, but they probably should have done better with at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, you felt with the amount of crosses and heading opportunities that they had. I think Swift had the best opportunity when he controls and then skews it wide of the post. He's really got to score that with his quality. But Norwich made it very difficult. It wasn't easy for West Brom today. You know, Norwich sat very deep, defended in numbers, made it very difficult, and maybe a bit of credit for Norwich, not necessarily West Brom being poor, because I don't think they were that poor today, West Brom. They just didn't have that tiny bit of luck maybe in front of goal.
It's really interesting, the rest of the table as well. 3 points separating from 7th all the way down to 11th. I love this league so much. Safe, short journey home to you, Dean.
Thank you. Yeah, lovely little walk home for me. Beautiful.
Enjoy that. Wrap up warm, though. Brilliant stuff. Thank you to Ian and to Dean for their fantastic commentary. By the way, elsewhere...